Hi, Twitter support. This is Omni Destiny, who uses the account OmniLiberal to ban evade. Could my followers please boost this so Twitter support takes it seriously? Jesus Christ. Just no, no natural escalation to this point. Just instantly just go for the guttural, you know? Go for his fucking Twitter account, basically, right?
This is someone who mocked one of my friends for attempting suicide, and someone who called multiple of my friends pedophiles.
By no means am I endorsing hate raid content, but I'm a little bit sick and tired of people that are making it a big deal when in fact, Twitch gives you tools, more tools than any other streaming website that easily allow you to solve the problem instantly.
I don't regret a single thing I did.
This whole holier-than-thou attitude that Keffals has is really cringe in my opinion.
It seems we're in a good place with this. You know, like, it seems like you kind of understand my position more, and I understand your position more, and I don't know, one of the things that I really struggled with in the last couple months, I think, was understanding how many, like, unspoken rules there were in the, like, this sort of sphere in content creation.
DeOrio. I'm going to be hosting a debate today. I'm not going to be participating in one. I am a professional Twitch streamer who opens Pokemon card packs for a living. Today's debate is going to be between Augie and Prag, or Pragmatic Leftist, whichever you'd prefer. The topics, let me just pull them up really quickly, because I know Prag has had two previous debates with both Aiden Projects and Bunk, both of which were not streamed to my knowledge, so the audience is seeing this for the first time right now. So the topics for tonight are directly related to fascism, transphobia, specifically to regarding Augie, and then a discussion regarding responsible platforming. I'll give both parties the option now if they want an opening statement. You guys can talk about amongst yourselves. Otherwise,
yes, I would like to open.
Is that okay with you, Prag? Would you like, would you
yeah,
like
sure, go ahead.
Opening statement?
All right.
Wait, what would we agree on? You guys want to do like 2 minutes or?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. All right, you're off.
All right, pragmatic leftist. Pragmatic leftist.
Actually, wait. One thing. Before you start, I do need to read the room here. We are on twitch.tv, not on your stream, on my stream, so there will be no slurs. I understand this is a, we're going to be talking about fascism and transphobia, but
do you really think I was about to just open up my intro and just start, like, spamming slurs instantly?
I don't know what
Did you really think I was going to do that?
I gotta get the rules out there. Whatever you want on your platform, just not mine. All right, God. Augie, you can start officially right now.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't make me look horrible. Like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. Let me just start this conversation off properly. Okay? Pragmatic leftist. Your username is retarded. Okay? First of all, okay, pragmatic, you are anything but pragmatic. All right? I heard last night you got into an argument with Bunk about me and about my supposed transphobia. And in that conversation, it started off with you saying that I was fascist adjacent, something I've heard before. I know you get all your opinions from your favorite fucking streamers, but I know Keffals said that, and then you just repeat that. You know, a week ago I was fine in your book, but now because Keffals said I'm, you know, I'm adjacent to fascist, now that's the hot take. But then when Bunk, another leftist, debated you on that and made you look stupid, you then changed your opinion to, well, I'm not fascist adjacent, but I'm going to say Augie is anyway to slander him, to ruin his career, because that would be a net positive for society. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right, that's my opening statement.
All right, Prag, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks. So what I would say is that I don't see fascist as generally used in online discourse as actually meaning the original term. It's just another insult. It's like calling someone the arselow. I think we can probably say people most of the time, generally when they're insulting each other, big streamers, are not saying it to actually call that person disabled. They're saying it because they think they're stupid. Fascist in this term, I think, is just an epithet that just means bad. So that would be like my first point.
What? I've never heard somebody offer a
Augie, I need you to.
we're not on Crossfire. We're not on Crossfire.
No. This is still his opening statement.
Okay.
Her opening statement.
I'm not used to formal debates. Forgive me. All right, go ahead.
Sorry, Prag.
Okay, and so that would be the first point. That's what could have happened. Okay, the second point could be that most people in Twitch politics know a flamenco as the former host of the kill stream, and so people just make the assumption that this person is fascist adjacent or is okay with those type of communities based on that association with flamenco. This is not a Keffels problem. This is a Twitch politics problem. I want to make that very clear from the onset. This is a Twitch politics problem. It's just part of the culture. People hear stories, people see connections, and they assume political ideologies based off that. So that's my first point. When it comes to your point about me being cool with you, first of all, I didn't really know who you were. Then I think I learnt who you were. And I don't think I was ever like a fan per se. I first learnt about really who you were from the time I think you were on a stream with Nick, and Nick said I was okay or some shit, and you called me the R-slur. And after that, I was like, oh, okay, so this person like hates. So I thought, okay, this person hates me, okay, and that pretty much that like formed like a really big part of my opinion of you. And third of all, I had a really big problem with the 2 trans tweets that were recently like published like a few days ago. So that's where the transphobia accusation comes from. Yeah, that's it. That's my opening statement.
Okay. You guys
are we in cross-sex?
You guys are now fully able to respond to anything either one of you have said.
All right. Well, first of all, regarding the trans tweets, feel free to link them right here, and we can examine them and take a look at them, because I have a feeling that it's probably a load of bullshit. So, where do I even begin? First of all, your definition of what a fascist is, I've never heard somebody give a definition, but in order to be reductive, instead of specifically defining what we're talking about. Your definition is vague and all over the place. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand that fascist is a vague term that means bad, but like, that's usually what, like, isn't that like what stereotypical right-wingers like say? Like, they dumb down the term to like make it more like broad. You're doing that right now. So like, I don't accept, and by the way, I don't accept your definition that fascist means bad, okay? Fascist has a very strict and clear definition, and you know exactly what you're doing by saying it, all right? So I don't buy that at all. I'm sure you said some other bullshit in the middle, but we can go over it because I forgot.
Okay, cool. So, no, that is just, like, not true. There are several definitions of fascist. One historian, several historians and several, like, people who've tried to come up with definitions have said actually defining fascist is, like, extremely difficult to do. It's based on several different definitions that can work depending on the context that you're using the term in. In terms of online discourse, I think it's pretty... Wait, please don't cut me off. So in online discourse, it absolutely makes sense that just used as a word to mean like this person's bad, this person is a person I don't like. It's the same as calling someone the R-slur. It's used as an epithet. I think most times online, especially when it comes to like these battles and wars that happen between streamers.
So if I call somebody the N-word, is that not like a racist statement? Is that just it just generally means bad? If I'm calling you an N-word, I'm just saying you're really lazy and fucking stupid. No, that word has a very clear definition, all right? I don't think you would agree with that. But you're saying that like, oh, well, the word fascist just means something that's generally bad. Okay, well, the N-word just means like somebody that generally fits like the stereotype of a black person, right? But I don't think you would agree with that, given what your politics are. So I'm a little bit confused where this is going.
You don't think? Okay, so I'm not going to go off on a tangent here. So what I would say in response to that is no, I never said that fascist means bad. I said that online, generally, when streamers are using it against each other, it just means that someone is bad. It's used as an epithet.
You understand why that's the case, right?
Wait. It's a bit...
Hold on.
It's... No. You're not going to cut me off. You're not going to cut me off.
I am going to cut you off, bitch.
No.
There's a reason why that's the case, okay?
Come on, Augie.
The reason why that's the case is because leftist streamers like you overuse the word fascist to the point where the word has lost all definition.
Not a leftist streamer, Augie. You've just made a drastic assumption about me. Know nothing about me.
What do you do then? Are you just a Twitter account? Okay, well, leftist Twitter accounts. Okay, leftist Twitter accounts overuse the word fascist all the fucking time. because of that, the word is lost all meaning to the point where anytime somebody is accused of being a fascist, it's like, oh, well, fuck, I don't even know what that means anymore. You understand that, right?
No, that's just not true. It depends on the context in which you're using. Okay, because a lot of words do not have like these universal definitions. A lot of the time, words heavily depend on the context in which they're used in, such as the R slur. The R slur can just mean that someone is stupid, or it means that someone is actually disabled, depending on the context that you're using it in. But generally online, when it's between two people who are fighting, the R slur doesn't mean that they're trying to like make fun of that person for being disabled or having ADHD or autism.
Okay, so
they just think that person is dumb.
All right. So what you're saying is you were just insulting me. You didn't mean anything by that. You were just insulting me generally. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. And
okay.
I think and yeah, I was just insulting you generally.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay. Then how come in your conversation with Bunk, all right, you admitted that I wasn't fascist adjacent, but you said it's worth calling me that to ruin my career? That means that seems to tell me that you understand the weight of calling somebody fascist. You understand what that word really means in the grand scheme of things. But you're playing coy with me and pretending like you're just, I was just saying this to insult you. No. You were saying something that has political weight and power behind it that you are very clearly aware of in private conversations. So I don't think you're being intellectually honest with me at all.
I'm not being intellectually honest with you. So yeah, you can use certain words in certain ways that can have negative impacts upon people. I have not rejected that throughout this conversation at all. It's not about you, Augie. I think commentary is bad. I want the fall of commentary, not just AugieRFC, because I think commentary encourages a lot of negative discourse, and a lot of the people who watch it are like extremely young, and I think it's like stunting their development and their ability to like engage normally with society.
Oh man, you're one to talk about stunted development, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Okay, could you actually respond to my argument instead of just
Could you like talk with like some conviction behind your voice, like for once? Like holy shit. Okay. How commentary is stunting the development. So you're sitting here saying that commentary YouTubers, by the way, notice how you shifted the goalpost, by the way. What? Now instead of AugieRFC needs to go, now it's the rest of commentary. Now you've created this blanket term that I just vaguely fall into because that's all you can do. You have to make definitions and terms vague in order to win arguments because your ideas are fucking stupid and don't stand up by themselves. They fall apart. Yeah. Second of all, okay, you're doing this dishonest thing with me. You know the weight of the accusation that you're making. You're fully aware of that. But then at the same time, you're going to tell me that, oh, well, I'm just calling you a bad person. Well, no. If you're going to call me a bad person, you would have done that. You're lying to me, okay? And I don't know if you even realize that.
Lots of negative weight. It has tons of negative weight. Because
right. So own the allegation that you're making. Own the allegation that you're making.
Oh my gosh. I don't
own it.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say. It doesn't have the weight that you think it does. And the reason it doesn't is because there are tons of people who are called fascists who still have very successful online careers, very successful political careers, very successful music careers. It doesn't... The problem is...
So because it hasn't killed everybody, then, the people that allegation has ruined don't matter?
No.
What kind of argument is this?
It signals to an audience that you are bad and makes you look bad to a certain type of audience, but I don't think it has this, like, very widespread ramifications that you think it does. So,
you don't think if I was known as AugieRFC, the fascist, that wouldn't hold weight to my reputation? No, listen to me.
Hold on.
You don't think... No, listen to me. You don't think that if I was known as AugieRFC the fascist, that would... You don't think anybody would look at me a little bit differently? And maybe think like, oh, well, that guy's just, a regular... Or no, that guy's a little bit fucking nuts in the head. You don't think that would be the case? You really don't think that'd be the case?
I think to like normies, but not to the edgy audience. But I think normies are going to probably be turned off by like the edgy content you do anyway, right? So it's probably not going to have the negative.
Not really. Normies are pretty edgy, all right? They've just been fucking conditioned by society to think that they have to be sensitive.
In the same position.
Most of them enjoy edgy humor. I know because I talk to people. I know you don't go outside your fucking house. I know you don't go outside your fucking house, but I do, and I talk to people, and they're not as sensitive as the internet makes them out to be. That's actually a lie.
Okay, so Augie. Alright, so if you want to do the personal insult thing, we can. I just don't think it's like fair.
I actually do, yeah.
Okay, then why would I ever engage in this conversation if this is what it was going to do? Because I was
I don't
told,
know, maybe you're a little
here's what
pussy
I
who
was
can't
told.
take it.
Maybe I don't want to sit with like an anti-intellectual who thinks
Well,
like the
okay,
height
don't
of
sit here and act.
conversation
Hold
is
on. Don't sit here and act like all I'm doing is just berating you with insults. I've made very clear and concise points. All right. So
Yes,
if you want to
yes, make
use
them.
if you want to use the cop out that because I've also added insults, then that means that the entire conversation is like
You just seem
now
very
can't
upset.
happen. I mean, I seem upset, motherfucker. I'm responding to you, bitch. What do you
Okay,
want me
buddy.
to do?
You're
so
like
what if I'm
insulting
upset?
me, and
So what
you're
if I'm
like
upset? Who gives a fuck? You're calling me fucking
well,
names, motherfucker. So what if I'm
It would
upset?
show, so
That's
it
got
would
real
obviously-
emotion. I don't think you're capable of feeling that.
Real emotion.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm as
I
emotional.
don't think you
as
have any
which means I can
feelings or
probably
thought.
see
I think
things
you're just a
objectively.
fucking mindless, spineless spurg
No.
who just fucking absorbs this fucking cancerous content and just
No.
repeats it without even understanding
You
what
don't
the
even
fuck
know
you're
me,
talking
dude.
about.
This is so funny. You thought I was a streamer. So like.
You're right. I put too much stock into you. I actually thought you were somebody that streams, maybe not to a large audience, maybe an audience of like 2 or 3 people, but I thought you did something besides sitting your fucking lazy ass all day and tweet and give the most fucking brain-dead
no.
opinions that not even your fucking lefty buddies think are interesting or cool. Everybody thinks you're fucking stupid. I don't know if you knew that, but in this
What?
community, everybody thinks you're a nutcase and somebody who is just totally delusional.
So the 2 people I'm guessing you're referencing are gonna be like Bunk's audience and like Chud Logic's
It's literally
audience,
everybody.
which
It's not. There's not 2 people. There's like
Everybody?
20 people. Like it's everybody.
Everybody
Everybody
thinks
I've
I'm
ever
cool.
talked to you about thinks that you're an idiot or doesn't know the fuck you are.
Okay, so here's what I'm like. Okay, so that is like a great tangent to go off on, but I can't
Yeah.
even remember your point. It's been so you've.
Well,
you've,
yeah,
like,
because you
removed
fucking.
yourself from your
I
point.
made an argument and then you cried because I insulted you, and now we
cried,
had a
no.
fucking sub argument about
all
insult.
right. Let me jump in because we're kind of getting all over the place here. I just want to know.
Yeah,
so
thanks, Nick.
Prag, do you legitimately think Augie is transphobic? Keep in mind
Yes.
the tweets that you sent me are on screen, so everyone has access to them.
All right, let's take
Yeah,
a look
yeah,
at these
yeah.
tweets.
Sure.
So here's the first one.
Would you like me to read them?
Yeah, you read them, Nick.
Okay. So there are 2 tweets that were made. One was in response to my drama with Keffels. If you people don't know about that, I asked my community to stop misgendering Keffels. Keffels did not like the way that I did it. So Augie quote tweeted me and said, "Keffels supports transphobia. She literally needs it to survive. She wants all of our communities to be full of it. Don't be fooled by her act. Blair fucking White cares more about trans issues. It's all a grift, and she's just went mask off. If you don't see it, you're delusional."
Holy shit, so fucking
And
big.
the second tweet was, "Besides, we all know the community isn't transphobic. Flamenco jerks off to them, and no one did anything about it."
These are some good ass tweets. How could you have a problem with these?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with the second one first.
Alright.
I think the basis of you saying my community isn't transphobic because we have someone that sexually fetishizes trans people is a bit weird if you're going to make a statement about the fact that your community is not transphobic.
Sexualizes trans people. Wait,
yeah,
does
yeah,
it
yeah,
ever- are you gonna make the argument that everybody that has a fucking preference is like bad for that?
No, I'm going to make the argument that the sexual fetishization of trans people, seeking trans people solely for their sexual fetishization, is a bad thing to do.
Wait, why?
There's something called chasers. I don't know if you know what chasers are. They exist. Huh?
People that chase trans people?
Yeah. They chase trans people solely for like their sexual pleasure. It's a thing that exists, Augie.
Okay, but what if 2 consenting adults have sex purely for just having sex? Like, are you gonna make that? Now, I would make a religious argument against that, but I have a feeling that you're probably not religious.
Oh no, I'm like a progressive Christian.
You're a Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, well then that would be morally bad because you'd be having sex out of wedlock, but like outside of like a religious reason, could you give another reason why that's bad?
Yeah, sure. And so the problem with solely seeking, seeing people, for like their sexual pleasure is just due to the fact, that encourages like a very warped perception of people. It also encourages people just to like not feel safe because every time someone goes outside, they're gonna think, well, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like put onto. I'm going to be harassed. People are going to solely be seeking me for like sex. That's something that I don't feel comfortable with. People are just not going to feel comfortable in spaces where they feel that people are solely seeking them out for that reason. And so if that's solely why you're seeking someone out, obviously it's like a bad thing, right?
I guess, but if two consenting adults want to have sex just purely because they just want to have sex, is there really like a fucking
Yeah, but we're not
bad
talking about
power,
consenting adults here. We're talking about a
Oh,
culture.
you're just talking about rape?
No, I'm not talking about rape. I'm talking about a culture where people are constantly getting hit on. A culture where people are only seeing certain types of people solely, I guess, for like sexual purposes. I would argue that's like a culture that's pretty bad and a society that most people would feel uncomfortable in. Okay, like if people...
I mean, I agree with you from a religious perspective. From a secular perspective, I don't. But I mean, I don't know. We're getting into there's two different conversations we could have here, and one of them I think we agree on. The other one that we probably don't.
Sure. I just think like society cannot like.
Okay, let me ask you something. What are your thoughts on like kinks?
Kinks.
Yeah.
As long as it's between two consenting adults, it's fine. But I don't think you should go out of your way. Like, let's say you're like on like a dating app and it's for kinks. I think that's fine. But if you're like going out of your way randomly, let's say this guy's randomly going up to people and going like, "Are you into this?" That would be, I think, a bad thing to do, because I think there are certain rules in society that are set, and I think in order for everybody to be able to participate in society to like the fullest degree, we need to sort of have those like type of social standards in place.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying, or?
Sort of.
Okay. Yeah.
We're getting a little carried away with this topic. I'm trying to like
well.
narrow down what you fucking think, because it's a little bit difficult. Like, you're saying my tweet is like making a mockery of people that like. Specifically jerk off to trans people and stuff like that.
No,
First of all,
jerk off to trans people who would seek trans people out solely for like sexual reasons.
Okay, but Flamenco doesn't do that. That's the joke, right?
Yeah,
Flamenco's been accused of like fucking like jerking off to shit with like that's featured like I think like cross dressers, or I think even like I think one of the characters in Boy Soprano is like literally trans or something, right? So people like make fun of Flamenco for that shit. The joke here is that how could my community be transphobic if Flamenco jerks off to them? I don't know if he does or not. I don't think he does. But like, do you see what the fucking point of the joke is? Like, who is getting harmed by this joke, other than Flamenco?
Who is getting harmed by this joke? No one, but I would argue that it's like pretty bad optics for you, right? Because at the same time, you're saying, hey, my community isn't transphobic, but most trans people are going to see this and goes, well, this is not someone who takes it seriously. This is someone who just like literally made a joke about it. This is like my point, right? It just seems that it like perpetrates like very like negative stereotypes.
What are you saying, dog? This doesn't make any fucking sense, bro.
100% it does.
How? Well, we're in like two different levels of like argumentation here. Like I'm trying to like even pick your argument apart to like respond to it, but I can't even like the basis that like. I don't know. You've lost me here. I just okay. Let me ask you this. All right. Let me try and figure this out. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's say somebody had a thing for Asian women, for instance. Is that a problem?
If it's been two consenting adults, no. If someone is going out of the way to like seek out Asian women, like on the street, or they're constantly hitting up Asian women, or I guess
but I feel like your problem there is just with people like catcalling, right?
Not only catcalling, but I believe like if we're solely looking at people only for sexual pleasure, then that's a problem.
Hold on, now, what's the problem? Let's say I was a guy that had a thing for Asian people, and I saw like a chick on the street who is Asian, and I try to talk to her, and then she tells me to fuck off, and then I dip or something. What harmful thing has happened in that situation? I walked up to somebody I thought was cute. I talked to them. They weren't interested. All right. What's the deal?
Okay. So obviously the context of like how you approach this person, how you've asked this person is going to be incredibly important in this situation. Generally there probably isn't a problem with it, but I happen to think that.
What if I said, "Hey, you've got a gigantic ass"?
Yeah, I think I would say that would be inappropriate, because obviously, you're acting in a way that obviously could distress that other individual, and make it so that individual just doesn't feel comfortable maybe going around that certain area again.
True, I agree.
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable if someone's like said that to me. If just out of fucking nowhere, yeah, I'd feel real uncomfortable.
But it's a compliment.
I would think, you know what, I'm probably not going to come around this area again, just because I want to avoid like that area. I would just assume maybe this happens in this area quite a bit, and I would seek.
What
to,
if I
avoid
walked up
that.
and actually slapped her ass?
That would be a moral wrong. Like that would just be objectively, I think, a moral wrong.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. Well, I don't understand that tweet's transphobic. I guess let's talk about the first one then.
Okay. So Okay. So when it comes to this tweet, right? We are saying here that Keffel supports transphobia, when most of her actions have shown that she doesn't. I just think like this is descriptively just untrue. There is no evidence that Keffels has ever been transphobic.
Okay,
Can you name
descriptively
it?
untrue. If let's say this statement was untrue, first of all, is it transphobic or is it just untrue?
Transphobic, as in you harbor personal hate towards trans people. No, transphobic, as in it can cause negative effects for trans people. Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm literally calling out somebody with bad behavior, right? Hold on. No. Let me explain to you the point of this tweet here, because I don't think you understand it, okay? Keffels made a tweet, or sorry, no, I think it was actually Jalen. I think Jalen made a tweet or something, pointing out how some people in Nick's replies were being transphobic, right? And so Nick then made a disavowal tweet where he was like, look, guys, don't keep the shit out of my community or you'll be blocked. Like, I think he said something like, I don't want transphobia existing in my community. And so Keffels took that and said, Nick is still transphobic because he's fine with transphobia as long as it's not in his community. As if Nick has any ability to control whether a group of people are transphobic in anyone else's community other than his own. And by the way, even in his own community, he can't really control it. He can moderate it. He can get rid of it when he sees it. But if Nick's community secretly, deep down, is all transphobic, outside of controlling their mind, Nick can't really do anything about that, right? He could just argue like, hey, you shouldn't be transphobic. He could ban it. But he can only control it to a certain extent, even within his own community, and certainly not in other people's communities, right? So Keffels sees somebody actually doing what she asked for, which was moderating their community and removing transphobia from it and making an explicit stance against it, right? But even then, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for Keffels because of how Nick said it, right? So Nick is doing an action that is objectively not transphobic. In fact, it's very pro-trans. And Keffels, for some reason, sees an issue with it. Of course, the reason why Keffels doesn't actually see an issue in it, okay? Keffels just sees money and engagement, okay? Because that's how they get interaction on their Twitter account, by calling out transphobia everywhere. And sometimes they call it out when it exists, and other times they call it out, like in this case with Nick, where it just doesn't exist at all. But they make a spectacle out of fucking everything because they know how the machine works, especially on Twitter, okay? Maybe not on Twitch. Their numbers are a little... a little on the lower end, but certainly on Twitter, they've got that shit figured out. All right, it's obvious what they're doing here. They're running a grift, and if you don't see it, you're living in total delusion. Because if Keffels is going to look at things that are pro-trans and somehow skew it as an attack, they don't really care about the issue at all. They're virtue signaling. They're not being real or genuine or honest at all. They're preaching to the masses. They're telling them what they want to hear. And they don't give a shit at the end of the day because they know they'll be rewarded by the algorithm, by the social media circle that they've participated in and created in multiple times before. Okay, so that's what my tweet means. That's what my tweet is talking about. Keffels supports transphobia because when Keffels sees transphobia, they get a 10,000, 100,000 like tweet. And they like it because they see it in areas where it doesn't exist. Right? They feed off of it. They need it. If nobody is being transphobic on a particular day, they get like withdrawal symptoms and they need to just fucking manufacture it almost, right? And I think that was proven in that tweet there. So when I say Blair White cares more about trans issues, I'm being a dick, but I'm also saying, like, look, everybody accuses Blair White of being a grifter. And let me be clear. I think Blair White is a grifter. I don't think Blair White cares at all either. But I think they care at least a little bit fucking more than Keffals, based on Keffals' actions. So that's what I meant. Do you understand?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say, right? You didn't like it when I called you a fascist, because you didn't think it's just descriptively true. Now, even with all this stuff, you calling Keffals transphobic has the same point. You're contradicting yourself here, Augie. You don't like it when you're called fascist, but you're okay with calling Keffals transphobic, without like much of like the context of all the stuff you just said to me. How do you like justify those two things?
What do you mean?
You said you didn't like it when I called you fascist or fascist adjacent, and you were calling her transphobic now.
I don't know if you can tell, but that was a rhetorical question. When I said, what do you mean? I wasn't asking you to then chime in and, well, what I was saying. No, I heard you the first time, all right?
Okay.
Here's the deal. Calling me a fascist when it's just objectively not true, and then admitting that it's not true, but continuing to do so anyway to cause harm to me openly, is much different between me saying that this person who has committed actions that seem to support something probably supports that thing. Do you understand that?
No, because
How?
you've made one. You didn't like me calling you fascist because it's not true. In order to call Keffals transphobic, there is a drastic range of assumptions that you're making, which just cannot be proven.
What do you mean? I just have to look at their actions and come to a conclusion.
No.
How? Yes, I do. When I look at somebody do something,
even though Keffals has like raised tons and tons of money for trans charities, even though Keffals condemns trans medicalism,
which is an action that they've been to some extent off of. Look, I'm all for charity. Okay, I like charity.
Okay. Under this idea, every person.
Hold on. You're not even letting me finish my point. You're not even letting me finish my point. You're not even letting me finish.
Let me finish my points, dude.
Okay, I like charity. All right. But let's not sit here and pretend that a charity live stream doesn't at some level benefit the person doing the stream. They get attention, they get exposure, they get, praise from the whole community. Yeah, sure. Charity streams are mostly done for the goodwill of the charity, but at some level the streamer does benefit from that too. So just because they've done a charity stream doesn't mean that they might also not create an ecosystem where they profit off of the misery that they claim to call out. Do you understand?
Like,
How?
I'm sorry. This is such an.
This is simple shit, dude. This is simple shit.
You've tried to explain to me the grand Keffals conspiracy here, okay? And
it's not a conspiracy. It's common sense.
That's an oxymoron. Like,
what are you talking about?
Common sense, Augie. That doesn't exist. It's an oxymoron.
I can understand why somebody like you would believe there's no such thing as common sense, but trust me,
it's an oxymoron. It's not real.
It is very much something that is real and something that most people are capable of engaging with. I know that's a little bit of projection coming from you, saying that it doesn't exist, saying that everybody is all just delusional and crazy, right? But everybody's not like you. Not everybody is delusional and crazy like you. A lot of people actually do exist in a common sense reality.
I'm not the one arguing that Keffals is engaging in a grand conspiracy to increase transphobia in the world. That's you, Augie.
You can call it a conspiracy, but I mean, it just doesn't diffuse anything that I'm saying. It just doesn't respond to anything.
You cannot
as much as you say that me insulting you isn't responding to the argument, you just sitting here saying that what I'm saying is conspiracy doesn't respond to what I'm saying either.
It does, because
no, it doesn't. It's just name calling at the end of the day. That's all it is. Oh, you're wrong. Okay. That's all you're saying is you're wrong. Okay, well, explain it.
All right. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. The idea that anyone or most people who engage in charity are benefiting off the action that they're opposing, under this idea, we would say that Martin Luther King actually would have benefited more from racism. That his enormous benefit was racism. Do you agree with that?
Everybody knows Martin Luther King Jr.'s name. There's a whole day made to celebrate him. So even in that claim, there are definite things that Martin Luther King Jr. benefited from. That's not to say that if he had the choice of living a life with no racism and no problems of that nature versus going through the life that he did, he wouldn't choose one over the other. But it is to say that Martin Luther King Jr., even him, anybody that made a name for themselves, that established their legacy, calling out racism, even if they suffered under it, under their time period, that legacy, that sense of, just eternal, destiny that they've created for themselves, that still benefits them to some extent, right?
Okay, so I guess then my question will be, do you think Keffals, if she could choose two things, would rather no transphobia in the world or still have lots of transphobia in the world?
Probably, if I had to guess, the normal thing to say would be, yeah, obviously the no transphobia option. But given how much Keffals might benefit from it, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'd have to look into their mind to know.
Come on, under this
I genuinely don't know,
right?
Because you're talking about somebody that benefits from this system heavily. So I don't actually know.
The system. Even you benefit from the system, Augie.
Exactly. And you're the one bitching about it.
Yeah, because I think even though I benefit from it, it's bad.
Okay, Keffals benefits a lot more from it, right? So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if Keffals would live a peaceful, just no social media life where transphobia doesn't exist, versus if Keffals were to do exactly what they're doing right now. I don't know.
Okay,
it's difficult. It's difficult for me to come to a conclusion there. The logical conclusion would be, yes, the no transphobic world, the world of peace and love. But maybe there's more to gain from being in the other. I don't know.
No. Okay.
Surely you must acknowledge this.
I'm going to try and address this tweet that Keffals sent. So, I don't think this Keffals tweet is good, by the way. I just want to know, I don't think this Keffals tweet is good. I think there are several ways she could do this. I actually think the best thing she could do is just have a conversation with Nick. But there sort of is this problem a lot of the time. When I think people I guess go through transphobia, racism, or sexism, whatever they've been attacked with, is accusing the other person of, hey, you're not doing enough to stop this. It's never enough to stop this, because they feel as if they're still getting it, and so they think it's all you. It's just I think it's part of just a wider loop here. I don't think this is Keffals being a grifter. I think this is Keffals being pissed off and not knowing who to throw it at. That's what I think's going on here. Most people do. Most people do this shit where they'll get shit from a community and they'll be hey, your community's not doing, and the streamer or the person will call it out and they'll be yeah, well, I'm still getting this, obviously you're not doing enough. Happens to Destiny, happens to Vosh, happens to gaming streamers, commentary, whoever. It's just something that happens. I don't think this is her being a grifter though. I think this implies a lot of malicious intent on her part that I don't think that's there. I just think this was a dumb tweet to make and she could have at least worded this a lot better. I don't think this is malicious on her part here. Yeah, and even though didn't she the day before acknowledge that Nick has done more than most commentary streamers have? Didn't she acknowledge that the day before? Yeah, I could be wrong, but I heard that. So obviously that's why I think there's a greater thing here. This is not malicious intent.
There was a 12-hour period where she had thanked, well, not really thanked me, but acknowledged that at least I did something, and then once I posted a formal statement, she didn't like how I worded it. And then basically went back on it entirely, and yeah, that's where we were. So, all right, sorry.
So did you go back on entirely only in tweets on her stream as well, Nick?
I didn't see the stream, to be honest. I didn't watch it, so I can only go by Twitter.
Okay, so this tweet, I think this is her just being pissed off that she's still getting what she says as shit from the commentary community, and she's going, oh well, obviously you're not doing enough, because she's pissed. But I don't think there's any malicious intent in this tweet. I don't think this is her wanting transphobia to survive. I don't think it's any of that stuff. I think it's just her being pissed.
Keffals' biggest problem with me in particular that I can understand from the tweet is that my policy is when I see it, if it's there, I will nuke it. We've done this in the past with people who make comments with Jewish people. Augie's done this as well on his own platform. Because when you make videos on Ethan Klein, regardless of what you say in the video, there are people who are going to come up and call him a greedy, and all those anti-Semitic things and stuff like that. And those aren't jokes. It's hate speech. When you see that pop up on the screen, I know I delete them. I'm pretty sure Augie deletes them. And it was basically just doing the same with transphobia. So if I see a bunch of people saying oh, this guy's got an Adam's apple or something, I'm just going to nuke that person. I don't really care. They're not somebody I would like in my community. But I think the part that Keffals disagrees with is I don't care what people do on their own time. So like if they think differently than me and have completely different views than me, if they I don't if they're out of my general vicinity and I don't know about it, I'm not like checking up on my own fucking people here. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of people to look after. You know what I mean? So I'm not like individually tracking what everybody says everywhere else. I know what's on my platform. I clean it accordingly, and that's basically all I do. I don't care what other people actually believe.
Okay. I guess I can understand like your position. Then I can understand her position as well. I think when it comes to this shit, like yeah.
Like if I was a leftist streamer who talked about idpol, I would do much more than I'm doing right now. But I make like videos on like fucking stupid YouTube drama. So like again, politics isn't my driving factor. And for every other group of people besides trans people, my whole stance is like, listen, if you don't like what's in here, this goes for like ableism, misogyny, there are other communities for you. This isn't obviously the one that you thrive in. And I basically take that hit to viewer count. Because I don't feel like sitting around and moderating. I can't read through 1,000 comments on every video. You know?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is not even about that. I just think this is like she's still seeing like shit from the commentary community, and she's thinking, oh, it's like you're part of this. Rather than like actually a
wow, what a great intelligent take. So Keffel sees she's getting a bunch of shit from the fucking commentary community, and she's like, oh, it must be coming from the guy who's actually fucking making an active effort to stop it. Wow, what an intelligent, holy shit, this is, I'm just, my brain is fucking bending right now from how insanely fucking intelligent this is. Holy shit, dude.
Okay, I think most Twitch streamers don't act intelligent like half the time. I don't think this is like a Keffel's thing. I think what
you'd be a good one to say that. So yeah, I agree.
All right, so I think what happens a lot of the time is when you're getting shit thrown from everywhere, right? I've experienced this a little bit. Like when you're getting shit thrown from everywhere, you don't even know like who's doing it at the end of the day. You're just like throwing shit back. You don't know who's sending it. You just want like the shit being thrown at you to stop half the time, and so you're going, okay, fuck you, you suck, you suck, you suck. There is no like, I think like actual intent. Oh, this is me going after Nicholas DeOrio.
I'm glad that you're acknowledging that Keffels' videos, tweets, and streams are all shit. Like I'm glad we can agree there.
No. That's not what I'm arguing here. Augie. So what I'm arguing here is that a lot of time when you're getting shit thrown everywhere, you're just like throwing shit back. You're not even like, this is not even a conscious effort on your part. Like half of the people who attack me that I insult them, I'm not even like maliciously thinking about them. I'm just thinking like, fuck off. That's like my only thing, right? Sometimes if I'm getting like a lot of shit like thrown your way, and when you're like, I can imagine like the shit she gets is probably like 10 times what I get. I mean, it would be insane. Like her Twitter and her DMs and her streams and her disc would be just fucking insane. So I think it's like more that. I think obviously like she needs to handle it better. I think the best advice like she needs to take is that she needs a PR person, and she needs a person who can actually deal with like the shit being thrown rather than her herself.
Who the fuck needs a PR person to run a fucking Twitter account? What are we talking about? Like,
actually, tons of PR people run Twitter accounts.
I'm smart enough to run a fucking Twitter account. It's easy. I just don't tweet stupid shit,
How many times have you been
bro.
banned, Augie? How many times have you been banned from Twitter?
None. I got banned once, and then I got unbanned the next fucking month.
Oh, is that because like you wipe like? Is that because you wipe a lot of your tweets?
No, actually, we were hit by a DMCA.
It's probably because I wipe my ass. Probably.
We were banned by a DMCA troll, who was sending it out to me. It was a huge wipe between like me, Augie, Brittany Ventney was on the list and stuff. There's a lot of people that got hit by that.
All right. So I think Kevels did something really shitty in this, but I don't think the tweet. I think the tweet comes off to like a lot of people who are going to be outside of commentary. I think the tweet comes off as just a little unhinged.
Honestly, I don't really care like what the intent was, whether or not Keffels is just like retarded or whether they were like maliciously going after Nick. I really don't care one way or the other. Intention doesn't really matter for shit to me. It's what like the tweet does and like what the person is saying at the end of the day. Okay.
Oh, but you're comparing her also to Blair White. I mean, that's a bit bad too, right? It's not like
why?
Why?
Blair White is like
the
number one like trans person who's like accused and again, rightfully so, of being a grifter. Okay, I'm just comparing her to another grifter.
That's well, I don't think like that's the major criticism that like trans people make of Blair Wise. No, that's just a grifter. It's that she
Really?
It's that she
I hear
uses,
that criticism all the fucking time.
No, it's that she uses harmful rhetoric, and her rhetoric has like impacted like a lot of young trans people, especially from like I guess like the 2016
Okay, that's just another argument.
period. No. But that is different from grifting, Augie. Being a grifter means you're just doing it for money. I don't think she's a grifter. No, I don't think it's way worse of a thing to do.
That means like she's profiting off of like the harmful rhetoric is just what she does. The grifting is like how she benefits from it. Grifting is way worse than harmful rhetoric. That's a much stronger point.
I don't care the money she makes. I care the mental health impact she has on trans people who listen to her.
Okay. I'm checked out of this, so I don't. All right. I don't know.
All right, well, I want to ask one more question to both of you, because this was the last thing on the docket. Do you believe, Prag, that Augie should be deplatformed? Do you think, A, because of views, or actually, okay, well, that answers that question.
Can I just, like, can I end with, like, a finishing statement?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So, this debate has, like, been a bit rough. I think I came in here probably a little bit too hot. So, pretty much, I was of the opinion that, like, Augie just, like, really disliked me. And so then, like, Bunk was like, actually, Augie, like, said some nice shit about you. And so then I was like, okay, so maybe I'm, like, wrong about this person. I've been wrong about people in the past. I get a lot of shit, and I don't know, like, a lot of the time, like, again, like, who's for me and who's against me a lot of the time. So, like, if that's just the case, if I, like, got, like, Augie's character wrong, I apologize for that. But I enjoyed having this conversation.
Okay.
I still don't like you, and I don't like the shit that you said about me, and I don't like the attempt at like a character assassination. Not that you could ever successfully pull it off, right? But I don't appreciate the attempt. I think you argue dishonestly. I think that you absorb all the dumb shit you see on Twitter and just regurgitate it and vomit it out without really any thought behind what you're like talking about. This conversation I did enjoy though, so I'll say that. That's my final statement.
Prag, I don't know if again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Totally can say no. I've been requested from Sondsol to follow up on something you'd previously said in this conversation. If you don't want to, that's fine.
No. Does Sondsol want to come in?
Yes.
I like Sondsol, so bring him in.
Okay. Augie, I'm going to let you go. You can watch the stream if you want, but I don't want to double team.
I'm down to stay or whatever if we're still talking about this.
I can bring you back in if it comes to you.
Oh, it's going to be a double... Okay, I guess I'll just watch then. All right, whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
So, let me locate... I don't have Sondsol. Okay, Sondsol, I need you to add me on Discord. I know you're watching. You might be a little behind.
In fact, Nick, anyone who wants to come in and talk to me can.
Are you sure? Because I mentioned I don't want to dogpile you.
No, it's like it's okay. Yeah.
Because I know Sondsol was asking and Bowblax was asking, but I would do one at a time.
I like Bowblax as well. I really like Bowblax. So you can do one at a time. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
Okay. So I'm just waiting for Sondsol to send me his Discord so I can send a friend request. Okay. Let me do this from my phone. I don't know if I'm supposed to not leak this. I've done that, but I did that to Onision. I accidentally leaked Onision's username the day after they made a new one. Hashtag. I think I did it to Keemstar too.
Not only that, but I'm gonna fat shame here too. This fat piece of shit literally fucking earlier said I'm losing estrogen.
How do you do this on mobile? Oh, there's a friends area. That's weird. Sorry, technical difficulties, everyone. The show will commence. Oh, I spelled Sondsol wrong. This is terrible. Okay. What the fuck? Am I not like in a server with Sondsol? Okay, I'm just gonna join Sondsol's Discord server.
Okay.
Because I suck at this. What the fuck?
Not only that, but I'm gonna fat shame here too. This fat piece of shit literally fucking earlier said I'm oozing with estrogen.
Let me see. Got this. Where's your little Discord thing?
You should make a public server. Your life will be a lot easier.
Yes. Well, to be fair, I feel like it would get harder because Discord is
Not only that, but I'm gonna fat shame here too. This fat piece
Discord
of shit literally
sucks.
fucking earlier said I'm oozing with estrogen.
Okay. I just joined. I just have to, I think, refresh because I'm trying to do this without like putting my Discord everywhere on the screen. Oh, was I? I was already in there. I'm actually dumb. Here we go. And okay, I got the friend request off. I'm boomered out a little bit, but we're good.
Okay.
We figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, kicking off
You're
Augie got me more viewers. This is great.
You're like 25, right?
I am 25, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we are off.
Okay.
Hey, Sondsol.
Oh, 1 second.
I will go through the super chats at the end, or whatever the hell they're called on Twitch. I use this enough that I don't even know what I'm doing. Let me go. Actually, while we're waiting for Sondsol, I might as well run through them. Oh, I'm gonna need my other thing for that. Never mind.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to. I needed to change out my headphone jack really quick.
You're good.
Discord stuff. All right.
Okay.
So,
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
All right. So I have a couple of things. All right, that just triggered the absolute fuck out of me while you were talking to Augie. All right. So first off, do you not recognize the irony of your name being pragmatic leftist while defending the statement that, you know, fascism being used just as like a pejorative doesn't like devalue the term fascist?
Well, I don't go by pragmatic leftist anymore. I just go by Prag. So that's like the first point. The second point is that no, because I think it's used as like using something as an epithet doesn't like harm like the original intent of like the word, because words are important depending on the context that you're using them in, right? So that's like my point with that. It's like when someone
there
says
are two different contexts of the word fascist.
Yeah. So I think if like two like fucking big streamers are battling it out, okay, I think calling someone a fascist is not going to harm the importance of the word. It's a bit like how when someone goes that's gay, that's probably not harming gay people. So
you don't think that people saying, "Oh, that's gay," for a long time kind of led to people having a negative like connotation of gay people? You don't think that that's something that people have been arguing for like the past, I don't know, since like 2013, 2014, everybody on the internet has been saying, hey, look, this person right here, like, I know that like we call things gay, but like that's actually kind of like wrong because we don't really have any real problem with gay people. What we have a problem with is this action that they're doing. The action itself isn't gay. Thus, you're saying that gay people are bad. You don't think that that can be very easily argued?
I think it used to be argued when like gay acceptance was law, but I think in the modern context, just calling something gay, I don't think there's any negative effect to that.
You don't
generally
think there could be a backslide in
No.
in rights or perceptions around a group of people?
Not only that, but I'm gonna
No.
fat shame here too.
I don't. I don't.
So what
don't think
about
that
like
at all.
all of the what about all of like the conservative folks that are like going to school boardroom meetings and they're saying that all of the LGBT teachers are like grooming their children? You don't think that that's a little bit of a backslide into, you know, like a lack of gay acceptance? There are a lot of people that are currently, you know, saying that we should get rid of gay marriage from the Supreme Court because like we've obviously gone too far and we need to revoke that decision right now?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure just like opinion polling just seems to be that actually like gay acceptance is on the up and up. Not that gay acceptance take a backslide, it just seems to be like there's a very vocal minority and they're just deciding to be like louder now is what I think is happening to that. I don't think also we can point that happening is anyway due to the fact that like people are using the words that's gay to mean anything negative.
We're not talking about that's gay. We're talking about fascist, right? Just like in general, we're talking about like words. That
okay, no, and then don't bring up that then. So also don't not bring it up. Sorry, don't like start me with with that then. So
you're going to wait, really quick. I just want to make sure that I've like 100% understand you.
Sure.
You're going to tell me that like there's no negative consequences of like using someone's sexual identity or someone's let's. What if we like reverse it? What if we said instead of gay people, it was like trans? We say that's trans every time we mean something is bad or something's stupid or someone's acting silly or something like that. Do you not think that that would be like a bad thing for trans people?
Sure, because trans acceptance is still pretty low compared to gay people, right? In the United States, it's still pretty low. So at this point in time, it seems it would be negative to do so. But if you're asking me 50 years, would it be negative to do so? I don't know. I don't know where trans acceptance is going to be in 50 years' time.
Where we're at is it depends on whether or not it's a good or bad thing to assign.
Yeah. Like, it depends on how high the acceptance of that group. It depends on how high that acceptance of the group is to whether using that would be okay or not. Of course.
Okay, so I understand what your thing is there, and then you're also going to say that there's no possibility of like a backslide.
Due to using that word. No, so I'm not going to say like as a categorical rule there is none. But I think there doesn't seem to be any case that shows that is the case. And I'd use like the fact that people still say, oh, that's gay, and that's not seeming to have like that's not having a backslide into like the acceptance of gay people.
I mean, we're just gonna have to disagree on this point because I can point towards all of the school board meetings and all of the horrible fucking like 1980s style
to polling that shows that's just like a very vocal minority, and actually gay acceptance is on the up and up. Like it's increasing.
Okay, every year. But again, like you don't think that we can look at the like real world consequences of like the way that people talk about gay people and then like point towards real things to the point where they're like creating whole
you can't point that's due to the fact that people are saying
I'm
that's
pointing
gay.
out that the fact that we're trying to pass right now in Congress a bill that is to like look at domestic terrorism, and they're like saying, oh no, we can't do that because all the parents that are concerned about like gay people grooming their children in elementary schools, oh no, like, we can't have like a domestic terrorism bill now. You don't. That is not like...
due to people. Sondsol, come on, that is not due to people. Okay, generally saying, "Oh, that's gay." I don't think that's why. That's not happening.
What I said. I'm saying you don't. I'm talking about a backslide. We're like already you very easily like weaseled away from trying to talk about fascism. What? But like I think that we're talking about like backsliding, like different like acceptance for groups, right?
But when it comes to gay people, there is not less acceptance. Just polling doesn't bear this out, Sondsol. That's the problem. Have you seen like polling on gay acceptance?
You're referencing polling right now. But you're not like bringing any polling forward. That's not the point of the conversation that I'm having. I'm saying that you're just like referencing something that you're saying, well, right now it's not hurting anything, but you're not like speaking to whether it can or can't happen, right? Where I am. I'm saying it can happen. But even that aside, if we're talking about fascism, right? Fascism means a certain thing, right? In a different context. What is the context that you were calling Augie a fascist in?
Okay, so number one, the definitions of fascism vary from like person to person. Fascism can mean a lot of things. There also is a pretty big
how was Augie fascist?
Huh? How was
Augie fascist?
I don't even know if he is fascist. I just think it was like an epithet that like number one that Kefl's used. In terms of like label, so I think it's okay for streamers to label certain people with certain things as long as it's not a pedophile, like political ideologies that maybe they not hold, as just a way of like a signal that this person is bad, because like that's the whole aim of a Twitch stream is to like, a political Twitch stream when you're like arguing against other streamers is to show that that person is bad or to call that person bad. Yeah, I think that's all like it means in terms of like the Twitch politics stuff. I think anybody
who's just been to make sure I heard you correctly. Are you saying that it's okay to call someone a pedophile just to be mean?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Because that's not a political ideology. That's not a political ideology.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the thing that I would say is like the bad thing that you're doing here. So if we have a whole bunch of people that just call everyone that they disagree with a Nazi or a fascist, when there are actually Nazis and fascists out there that are gaining political power and, you know, like doing things in the real world that are harming people, right? It kind of makes it more difficult to push back against them when like someone like Augie is being labeled as a fascist and people are like, oh, well, if Augie's a fascist, that's obviously not that big of a deal, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Twitch streamers calling each other fascist is going to have much more wider consequences to people being called fascist. I just don't think that's true. I think that's
so you don't
happening.
think that anything that can happen in like the Twitch or YouTube space can have like, you know, ripple effects that go out into the rest of the world?
I don't think there's enough negative or ripple effects, as you would call them. I don't think like enough has been shown that like shows that from happening. I think people are still going to take.
Okay, so do you
pretty
think
seriously.
do you think Lauren Southern was responsible in
Please
part
don't
for
cut me
like
off.
the Buffalo shooting? Would you say that there's like such thing as like stochastic terrorism? You know, any of the things that like lefties often like try to attribute to YouTubers and personalities online?
Sure, there is such a thing as stochastic terrorism. I don't happen to think that Keffel's calling Augie a fascist is a stochastic terrorist act.
Okay, that's not what I was trying to say. I'm saying, on one hand, you're saying that there are no way, there's no ripples out into the real world from anything that's going on in these conversations or in these spaces. But now you're saying that there are when it comes to like different people, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So you're saying that when it comes to Keffels using a word that I would argue that using it incorrectly or mislabeling someone as a fascist devalues the term and makes it to where people don't take the claim that this person is a fascist seriously, right? I'm saying that that is kind of like the same kind of like ripple effect that can go out into the wider like rest of the world, the same that like stochastic terrorism can, right? Where someone kind of like, no, why? Because you were saying that it can't happen in the case of Keffels, but it can happen with Lauren
No,
Southern.
I don't think anybody's going to take the application of an actual fascist waving Nazi flags or shooting black people less seriously because Keffel's called Augie a fascist. I don't think that's true.
Okay, what about someone that's trying to get like electoral power that is a fascist? But now nobody will believe that that person's like actually a fascist or this person is actually nearly as bad as they actually are because people like you are going around or people like Keffels are going around calling people fascists and Nazis for literally no fucking reason when they're not fascists, when they're not Nazis.
So what I would say is
if someone goes around and calls people like pedophiles all the fucking time, and then finally like they actually do identify someone that's a pedophile and they tell everybody, do you think that everybody's going to take them seriously that time, or do you think that like they're just going to be like, oh, that's the pedophile person?
Sorry. I think when it comes to the word pedophile, I think that means someone who's like a child rapist. It's not like the term fascist, which has a pretty broad definition. The term pedophile means someone who's like actually is sexually attracted to children. Hold on, Sondsol.
Sorry,
so someone who is
you're right.
Yeah. Someone who's sexually attracted to children, it seems like that has like pretty big consequences if you like misplace that. It seems like also it just would have so many negative consequences to just like falsely accuse people of being a pedophile. I don't think the false accusations of calling someone a pedophile and calling someone a fascist are similar at all. Or
okay, so you don't think that there can be negative outcomes from having someone like get political power when people don't take the term fascist seriously?
No, because I don't think people calling each other fascist on Twitch is going to lead to people not taking politicians who are called fascist seriously. And also, if there are other politicians...
just heard Augie in the conversation... Well, hold on. I just want to take it one statement at a time. So you're saying that, but we literally just heard Augie in a conversation with you say that the word fascist doesn't mean anything because people like you call everything fascist.
Yeah, he doesn't know that I call everything fascist. That was just an assumption he made for my character.
You're literally sitting here and telling me that there's no harm that can come from like using this word in a way that it doesn't mean what it means.
No, I don't think there is. Otherwise, everyone would like believe that like social democrats are fascist because like anarchists call them that, right? It doesn't seem to be having that. Most people don't go around thinking, oh, sock dems, yeah, they're fascist. Like that just doesn't happen.
There's not enough people doing that, but there are a lot of people calling like random fucks fascists and Nazis for literally no fucking reason, right?
I don't think it's as widespread as you think it is. I think it's mainly like an online thing that happens on like Twitter.
Do you really think that when it's a normal like conservative talking point to point out that they call everybody a fascist?
Yeah, but I don't think that
Because you're
most
living
of
in
the
another
public...
reality if you think that.
What?
You live in
Sorry.
another reality if you think that people aren't calling everyone that they disagree with a fascist.
I don't think that's happening on a widespread scale. I just don't. I just don't think that's happening on a widespread scale. I think it's something that, like, online people think is happening on a widespread scale because, like, the communities they're in, and how often they hear it. But I don't think it actually, like, in IRL politics, I don't think in the real world it's happening as much.
There's literally a rule on the, like, the Godwin's rule. Is it Godwin's rule? Where it's like, oh, look, this person's going to bring up the, like, they're going to, like, compare their political enemies to Hitler. Like,
what is the Godwin's rule? I've never heard of that before.
That it's like at some point, like during a political discussion, then like someone will bring up or compare their political opponents to Hitler or something along those lines.
So if this rule only applies to online debate, maybe, but I don't think it's applying in the real world. Just like, okay, I don't think many Democrats are accusing like Ron DeSantis of being a fascist, right? I don't think like that is happening.
Do you think that? Really?
Yeah, okay. How many Democratic politicians are accusing Ron DeSantis of being a fascist? Please name me them. I
don't have like specific like articles on hand right now. Someone in my chat says that they can grab one. But like this is like just like actually now. At first I was a little triggered. Now I'm just like incredibly interested that you live in such a crazy bubble that you don't think that people are going around constantly calling everyone that they disagree with a literal fucking fascist to the point that it's
it could be a national difference maybe, but no, I don't see it.
Oh yeah, you're a Britbonger, aren't you?
I'm Australian.
Oh, same thing.
So true. But at least in like my reality, no, I don't see every person who disagrees with people being called like a fascist, or like even most.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to just like disagree on the fact that this is like a complete like total thing that everybody recognizes happens on the internet to the point that it's a meme and people don't know what fascist means.
On the internet,
to the point where like most people no, hold on, the internet like bleeds into real life. Even you recognized that a couple of minutes ago when we were talking about like Lauren Southern and shit, right?
Lauren Southern? What about Lauren Southern?
I said that even you recognize that online bleeds out into real life.
Oh, when it comes to like Lauren Southern? Oh yeah, but that's
only
that's
when
because
things that you don't like. Only when it comes to people that you don't like.
She went from being no, because Lauren Southern went from being online to actually getting on like major TV networks. Okay,
that wasn't until after she like had already gotten prominence on the internet, dog. Like she already had like
she got prominence on the internet, but I believe her big impact was the fact that she like got on like network television.
No,
right? Like,
it was the internet shit, dude. That was the overwhelming majority of like how she was known.
I think okay, so here's the thing. I think radicalization can take effect on the internet. I think it can have negative consequences, but I don't think this does. Okay, and so when we're talking about online, people are like calling fashion. No, it's a bit like me saying, you know what? I believe these anarchist Twitter is going to end up like committing terrorist attacks in the real world. It's like, well, okay, like like it's probably not happening, right? It just seems like so far fetched. Like anarchist Twitter is actually going to have like such a grave negative impact in terms of like IRL impact. Right? To me, it's a bit like saying
the only reason that anarchist Twitter isn't going to go out and, like conduct like mass shootings is because they're all depressed fucking people that if they had a gun in their hand, they would kill themselves. That's the only difference between a right winger and a fucking like anarchist in this situation. Okay.
I'd make a really joke about anarchist Twitter as well, but I don't want to get kicked off an extreme.
I'm sorry. Like, I'll move on to the next point, but like, just like Nick, can like just as a reality check, am I like, is this not like insane to you to hear someone say that like people don't call people fascists for no fucking reason?
It just sounds like I understand that it's not a political ideology. It just sounds like pedo jacketing. It's just like, I'm gonna call you fascist, a word that typically is used to like defame and like attack creators and stuff like that. And I don't mean it because of any policy decision you have. I mean it because I don't like you and I think that you're retarded. I don't really back that. I think that's kind of shitty behavior.
It's not only shitty behavior. Like when we look at people that might actually be fucking fascists or fascist adjacent or like literal neo-Nazis out in the world that are like getting some amount of prominence in some real world politics, the fact that a lot of people will not listen to you know, people telling.
Yeah, sure, it waters it down, but
Yeah.
you don't get banned from Twitter and banned from YouTube for being retarded. You get banned for being a fascist. You know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
you don't even get banned for being a fascist.
You don't even get
for
banned from
breaking
YouTube
TLS,
for
yeah.
being a pedophile sometimes, but you can get banned if you're like a right winger. So if you like openly use terms like transphobe and stuff like that about people that you don't necessarily believe are transphobes, and you openly use terms like fascist, I mean, I gotta say, like, it seems really shitty, especially when these are like loaded fucking terms. Yeah.
Also, let me also ask this, because at the end of that, didn't you say that Augie was devaluing the term transphobe or misusing the word transphobe? And like, that's a bad thing.
And so that was not my argument. My argument was simply, I was trying to get Augie to see that he was being inconsistent by being upset with me and Keffels both calling him a fascist, but then also seemed to think it was completely fine to call Keffels like a transphobe.
Well, even given
that's an
your
inconsistency on
argument,
his part.
isn't it an inconsistency on your part to say that, like, oh no, well, it's probably bad to call someone a transphobe that isn't a transphobe?
But that's
it
not
is
my
okay?
argument. My argument is just showing his inconsistency.
Oh, okay. So inconsistency is the only argument there. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to like move off of this. I can't believe I'm talking to someone that doesn't think that there are people that like completely don't believe anybody about like someone that's a literal fascist, because there are people on the internet that pretend that, you know, like, I don't know, Mitt
I think
Romney
it's just
is a
as an
fucking
epithet,
fascist.
Sondsol. I'm sorry. It doesn't seem like I can agree on this.
Well, I
unfortunately.
don't think we're ever going to agree on that. It's just like insane to me when like there are like
Okay.
actual fascists doing real harm in the real world. But you know, whatever. Let me see. What were the other things that I wrote down? This was like kind of like a small nitpick, but do you really think that people don't get something like out of charity streams? Like, you don't like? Do you think that that's actually
That wasn't me. That was Augie.
You said that it was a conspiracy theory. That
a conspiracy theory? I think a conspiracy
did my internet cut out? Or did
theory that people overwhelmingly benefit from the oppression of minorities.
Hold on. Start over. You cut out right at the beginning.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
I think Prag's having a few issues with
Yeah, I am. I'm having like some really my signal's getting really low.
Here, let's try that. That might fix it. We should be back now. Let me see your audio. I moved the location.
All right, that actually is way better. I'm on green now.
Sondsol, are you around?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know where you're telling me to look. What do you mean green?
Sorry. My signal's way better now. So what I'm going to. Okay, so what was the question, Sondsol? I'm sorry about that.
So you said that it was a conspiracy theory that Augie said that someone could get something out of a charity stream, like notoriety?
Notoriety? So I think people can definitely get notoriety out of a charity stream. But I think the idea that every time someone does it, or most times people doing a charity stream, they're benefiting off the oppression of certain groups or minorities, I think that's pretty dumb.
I don't think that he said every single time, but like, I think that he was saying that that's definitely something that is happening. Just like,
I don't think Keffels is benefiting from transphobia. Put it that way.
I think that she's definitely trying to.
No, I don't think that at all.
I would say that the fact that she's constantly trying to call every single person that like disagrees with her or doesn't like her like shit fuck scum personality, right, a transphobe, like the only thing that they're attacking is her transness. Yeah, I think that she's trying to like have everybody think that people are being just transphobic to her rather than identifying, you know, something that they don't like about her.
Prag, let me ask you a question.
I don't think there's any malicious intent there.
Do you think that Keffels is constantly on offense or defense? Do you believe these actions are like Keffels is often being attacked, like is the victim, or do you think Keffels does her own fair share of attacking?
I think the one time, the attack that I think was really unfair was, I think, the Destiny allegations. I think that was really bad. I think she was on the offense of that. But I think what happened is through that, she got so much backlash. And it seems to that's when the commentary community started focusing on her. And so now she's always on, like, I think the defense, not the offense.
She kind of did it again to Chud, though. She was like, oh, Chud logic?
That was...
And then she had to go back and walk
Chud went after her mildly, let's put it. Chud went after her mildly.
She's literally banning, like, 7.8k people from her channel and labeling them all as transphobe. right? And all the people that she put on that list for their communities to be banned from her chat, she's calling all of them transphobes too, because by her own words, if they're not nice to me, they must be a transphobe. Do you really?
Yeah, I've had that problem.
To it.
I've had that problem before. I mean, I associate with Gummy. Okay, like a lot of people think Gummy. A lot of people don't like Gummy, and I lost a lot of friends for associating with Gummy. Like I do understand like how insane that is. But I think this is part of the culture. I think all communities seem to be at fucking like war with each other like permanently, and there is no like bridge building that just happens on Twitch anymore. Especially Twitch politics. It's just an insane mess of
who is the one that is continually going out of their way to say I'm disengaging and then re-engaging. Who is the person that like constantly virtue signals about how much they're getting bullied and then goes out and intentionally bullies other people? Like I don't know.
I can name someone else other than Keffels who does that.
We're talking about Keffels right now, dog.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Destiny.
But you're saying it's a Keffel problem, and I'm saying it's a Twitch
in this situation. No, okay. Well, I don't think that anybody else is like crying about Keffels bullying them and then like going out of their way to like fuck with her until they fuck with them first.
Keffels is kind of a weird scenario because I mean I don't know if you know this, Prag, but I mean one of the reasons why Augie is so angry is that Keffels is going out of her way to contact individual fans of Augie that are trans. And last night, one of these people had gotten a message because we accidentally...
Was this Polus?
Yes, we accidentally misgendered them on stream. And Keffels tried to paint it as if, like, we misgendered them because they performed badly in the debate, even though that had happened prior to the debate ever happening. I think that's pretty weird. And to be fair, we're pretty we're clean on this because Nerd City is like a huge YouTuber who's done the same thing to us. I think it's just weird to like beg fans to like disown their favorite creator.
I don't think it's good behavior, is what I would say. I don't think it's good behavior. There's a lot of people who do a lot of really shit things who think they're morally justified for doing it. I think the problem is... Sorry, I think the problem... Oh my goodness. I think the problem is that she thinks she's doing the right thing because she thinks, okay, this community... I actually believe that she thinks that the commentary is just full of massive transphobes who want trans people dead. I think she actually believes that. I don't think this is like something that like she's doing out of grifting. I think it's a genuine belief that she has. And so she feels that doing that is morally justified because she actually thinks these trans people are in like danger. I think it's actually a belief she has.
Do you really think that she thinks that trans people are in danger, or is she literally just like attacking people that she doesn't like or that she thinks are mean to her, and then telling everyone that they are transphobes and trying to use that justification to like basically say or do anything to them that she?
I don't think Keffels is intentionally weaponizing her identity. If that's what you're asking me, I don't think she is. I don't think that. I just don't, right? I don't think
Do you think that Keffels is a victim in this situation, or do you think that she is playing into the victim like mentality?
I think she's an aggressor and a victim. To put it that way. I think she's an aggressor and a victim. I don't think it's one or the other. It's a bit like if people would ask me, do you think in a lot of situations Destiny is the aggressor or the victim? I say I think he's both. Like, you know, this is the thing I have with like most Twitch politics drama. I don't think most people in Twitch politics are either victims or aggressors. I generally think they're generally both. Yeah.
This is fascinating to me because we're talking about someone who did not get any, like nobody knew. Hold on. Someone is in my chat right now that needs to get banned. I thought it was actually Keffels, but it's a fake Keffels. Okay. Anyways, so we're talking about someone who is like constantly like saying that like, oh, well, I'm going to disengage. I'm not going to do anything like with these people. I just want to get as far away from them as possible. You know, we're going to do like the Vosh fucking Fortress arc, whatever the fuck that shit is, right? We're just going to be, you know, we're going to be all to ourselves. And then like literally the next day going after people on Twitter, trying to get people to like mass report them, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to say that Keffels is the victim here? when people respond to that.
Okay,
shit
so
in
here's
kind?
how I think she's the victim. I think that the commentary community has gone out of their way to make tons and tons of videos about her. They talk about her like nearly daily at this point. And they talk about her to what I call like jelly bean proportions. Commentary people know what I mean by that. She was a big streamer who got a lot of hate simply for being cringe. And what I mean by that is that she like gets coverage like daily from like commentary stuff. Right. I think she gets like a lot of tweets made about her daily, videos made about her daily, streams that solely are covering her shit in a very negative way. And so the idea that she's not at least a victim of some of that, I think, is a bit ridiculous. I think this is, but I also think she's been an aggressor in a lot of situations as well.
The only way that they can make that content off of her is if she continues doing exactly what she's been doing, which is complaining.
If she believes
about
someone's
all
a
the
transphobe, she has the right to call them a transphobe. Come on, Sondsol. Okay.
Do you think that any of the people that she is called a transphobe, she has any legitimate reason to think that they are a transphobe? Do you think that me or Nicholas DeOrio or Stardust or Chud Logic or basically anyone that she's been going after for the past month maybe is a literal transphobe that needs to be deplatformed?
So I think this is what someone is, and like I separate like I guess like ideologies from like actions, right? I don't think any of these people are like full on transphobes. There are some people like I haven't seen Nick do anything.
That's not the question that I've asked. I said, does she have any reason to think that any of these people, given their interactions with her, that they are a transphobe that needs to be deplatformed or whatever?
I haven't seen all the arcs, so I don't know about the Child Logic arc really. I don't know about your arc with Keffels in particular. The only person I'm going to say it was very unjustified when it came to Nick, because I do know Nick's content pretty well. Okay. But I just don't know like enough of like your arcs or like Child Logic's arcs. I haven't watched Child Logic in like 3-4 months now. To really like know. I haven't like been part of his community since like the Keffels shit started. So I couldn't like answer that question.
Do you think that maybe it's a little bit weird to try and defend the actions of someone that's like going after like 90% of like Twitch politics and calling all of them transphobes, specifically going after all of the left-leaning people in Twitch politics, calling them all transphobes? You don't think that there might be like something a little bit weird there with her actions? You don't think
No, my intuitions don't suggest that because someone is left-leaning, they're not transphobic, if that's like what you're asking. It doesn't, my intuitions
Is it more likely for someone that is left-leaning to be transphobic or someone that is right-leaning?
J.K. Rowling's left-leaning and she's transphobic.
That's not what I asked.
Sure. Is it more likely for someone to be right-leaning? Sure, but it doesn't exclude someone who's left-leaning from being transphobic.
Sure. So when Keffels goes after almost every single left-leaning person in Twitch politics, specifically, and calls them all transphobes because they weren't nice to her, do you think that might be not worthy of defending whatsoever? And maybe it's just like someone has a shitty fucking personality that like constantly goes out of their way to fucking cry bully an entire segment of Twitch and then try and like get them deplatformed and shit. You think that maybe you should know a little bit more about her interactions with all of us before going out and defending her hardcore?
Okay. Sorry, what is the question? I'm sorry,
asking, do you think that maybe you should know a little bit more about like the situation at hand before you start like defending Keffels if she's like going out of her way to fuck with people?
I think I know enough to like be able to make at least some like charitable judgments. I'm always gonna try and like when it comes to people on the left, I'm gonna try and like obviously have as much high charitability as possible. That includes like people who like are unpopular on the left. So also when it comes to her, I'm just asking for like everyone to like stillman at least like some of her arguments rather than finding easy dunks they can make.
All right, guys, you want to wrap this thing up? I do want to give Bowblax
an
opportunity.
Yeah. Sondsol, I just want to say I actually really like you as a content creator, and I have a lot of respect for you. So thank you for talking to me.
Absolutely, no problem. I'll catch you later, buddy. All right.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for coming on, Sondsol.
Yeah, catch you later.
All right. Let me grab Bowblax. Thank you again so much for doing this, Prag.
It's okay. It's okay. You're the only person I would probably trust to do this.
Oh,
fairly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Bowblax.
Hi, how are you?
Oh. I'm good. Although, you said commentary content erodes kids' brains, and my brain kind of eroded a little bit when I heard that. So can you...
Erodes kids' brains?
Something to that effect, maybe not that exact word.
Oh, stunts development. Yeah, I think, for example, teenagers... Yeah, development. Yeah. So I think that teenagers are watching a lot of commentary content. It seems to definitely be a stunting of, like, development. It doesn't seem that, like, if you're a teenager, it's, like, the content that you should mainly be watching, I would say. Yeah.
Why is that?
Why is that? Because I think it encourages just, like, very negative behaviors. If we see, like, just some of the behavior of, like, commentary YouTubers, especially the big commentary streamers, excluding, of course, Nick here, I think it just seems that, like, people think, oh, this is the way I should behave. I know this personally because I used to be in a few commentary servers, like, these fucking teenagers, right? Like, it was always, like, spamming the N-word or, like, just shouting, like, really retarded shit, like, 24/7. And it seemed like they'd, like, seen this behavior from, like, their favorite content creator. And then they would, like, sort of come into other communities where people were having, like, chill conversation, just, like, reenact what they'd seen, like, their favorite, like, streamer do. Yeah. I'm not talking about video SAS in particular, particularly talking about, like, just commentary streamers.
So, you're 26, correct?
Yeah, I'm 26, yeah.
So you hanging out with teenagers in Discord, talking about commentary?
Not really. I used to be Bunk's, like, co-host and head mod.
Okay.
That's how I ended up in that position, yeah. But now I mainly hang out in politics servers, like where I was before, yeah.
So, yeah, we all know, like, I guess younger people just naturally, like, kind of, like, copy behavior from older people and stuff like that. That's pretty common. But what makes commentary in particular, like, worse than any other, like, genre on YouTube that might cause teenagers to exhibit similar behavior?
I think what commentary does, I think the biggest difference with commentary is I think it's, like, drama and solely looking at drama for the funnies.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that is that I think it just like, people seem to, like, look at it through, like, a warped perception, and again, like, they reenact those type of personalities. And so if you've got, like, super edgy streamers who are super edgy, but most of them, like, I would say 99% of them know when to do it, when to not to do it. Like, I can nearly guarantee you, right, most, like, edgy streamers aren't the same way in, like, chill VCs as they are, like, on stream. But these kids, they don't know that. And so when they see this, what happens is they think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And then they come into VCs and they just act super crazy. And so I think, like, that's a problem. It's for example, it just seems that, like, certain teenagers shouldn't be, like, overly consuming certain types of content. This is sort of why the rating system when it comes to TV shows and movies is in place, because there's just sort of a lot of evidence that just shows that that should not be happening. For example, just to give you, if we're to make it very extreme, for example, I know you don't like Mr. Girl. And so if, like, a 17-year-old was watching, like, tons of Mr. Girl, I would also say, hey, that's not okay. Or if, like, let's say a 17-year-old was watching, I don't know, several things about someone who goes out of his way to, like, throw shit at people for, like, pranks and that. That was all he consumed, and he thought, like, I would say he needs probably a bit of more of a mix in his, like, content stuff. Otherwise, I just think, like, those behaviors can, like, be reenacted.
I mean, at 17, it's not really typical to continue monitoring, like, what they watch. Like, I doubt, like, a parent of a 17-year-old's like, oh, you can't watch that R-rated movie, you're 17.
Yeah,
like,
but what? I think the problem is, I think most of these parents have no idea the shit they're watching. Like, these parents have no idea what they're watching. It seems like that's really concerning.
When you're 17, you're a year out from doing whatever the fuck you want to do, essentially.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean so I don't consider, like, maybe this is just me, I don't consider a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old to be at, like, the same level of maturity. I think there's, like, something about
maturity changes over time, and it's the development of it is dependent on each person. Obviously, you know, we could say 17-year-old is similar to 16-year-old, 16-year-old similar to 15-year-old, 15-year-old similar to 14-year-old, but 14 and 17 obviously aren't the same because there is a transition in between that time. But, I mean, in terms of, like, watching different types of media, like playing an M-rated game or watching an R-rated movie or just watching stuff, I feel like at 17... all shackles should be off. You should be able to be independent enough to choose what you want to watch and not have it and not have to be monitored like a baby. Like
Okay,
what?
I'm gonna take this to a real extreme level, and I want to know what you think about this. Do you think a 17-year-old probably should, not that they do, but they should watch porn?
Should?
Yeah.
That's kind of asking if I think people should watch porn in general. They
Okay.
can if they want to. I wouldn't see an issue with it.
Okay, I think maybe I'm a little bit harder here. I don't think they should. Just seems that like there are still like very.
But when
warped
they're
perceptions.
18, like when they're 17 and 11
Mm-hmm.
months and 29 days, they can't look at pee-pee. But the second they fucking get through, the next day they can start watching like hardcore fucking. Like what?
Well, yeah, but that would be like we could argue the same for like a lot of shit, right? We could like I mean this line could let us to like argue that maybe like the age of consent needs to be way more flexible. It just seems like we could definitely like go down that line, right? It seems that obviously we have like age groups for a reason. I think there is something, I could be wrong about this, but I think there is something about being an adult, like being fully out of high school, being an adult, having this sort of the idea that you're an adult. I think that means something, right? And I think
do you think it's healthy to strictly limit a teenager from engaging in any like learning about themselves? Like it's just so disgusting, I think, to talk about as adults. But let's say like you think teenagers shouldn't be allowed to jack off and watch porn at all? Wouldn't that kind of like to have that strict restriction on a kid up until they're 18? Shouldn't they kind of just like naturally
if we're talking about
learn
like
about those stuff about themselves instead of just having it restricted up until 18 and then dumped on them all at once? Like, shouldn't it be a gradual thing?
It sounds like that would be good, right? So it sounds like that would be good. Masturbation, don't really care. When it comes to porn, it definitely seems that I would argue that, like, yeah, 17-year-olds probably shouldn't, like, 17-year-olds shouldn't be watching porn. Probably, like, parental involvement into what teenagers are watching, at least to, like, a minimal effect, should, like, still take place.
Okay.
Yeah,
this porn thing, I think we've discussed all we can in that topic, and I think it's a complete diversion. We were talking about commentary content, and you changed that to porn. Can we get back to why can't 17-year-olds watch commentary content? Let's bring it back to that.
So I think 17-year-olds should be allowed to watch commentary content, but I don't think that should be the main source of content that they consume, because I think it seems that that encourages these kids to engage in like social inept behaviors, and I think a wider array of content is going to like increase their development, and I think just solely focusing on like commentary is going to like stunt it. It just seems to.
It encourages socially inept behavior or whatever.
Yeah, I think it encourages socially inept behavior. Yeah.
If a 17-year-old watches a comedy or like a crazy let's say Jackass, right? Let's say they watch Jackass. Do you think they shouldn't be watching that because they could emulate that behavior?
I think they should.
Like that's an argument you usually make for like 8-year-olds or whatever, like not 17-year-olds.
So I think a 17-year-olds are pretty immature. I think when it comes to watching Jackass, yeah, I think they can watch it, but it shouldn't be like if Jackass content is like the main content they are consuming. I would still have a bit of concern with that. It seems that teenagers can still be heavily influenced by the media they consume, and so in order to like make sure that like we should be aiming that these teenagers have a reasonable balance in the type of content they consume. And if their main content was Jackass, obviously that can have an influence on their behavior. We should seek to find ways to like rectify that.
So if a 17-year-old is not allowed to watch Jackass by their parents and are sneaking off to watch on the TV Jackass in the middle of the night, and then their parents wake up and get mad at them and ridicule them, do you think that's more healthy than letting them just watch Jackass freely?
That's a tough question. So obviously, like in terms of the way parents should rectify, I think that's a completely different conversation. Because I'm now arguing what like parental technique. In terms of regulating.
You said they shouldn't, like kids shouldn't primarily be watching this.
No, I said it shouldn't be their main
commentary. Yeah.
Wait.
What?
So my argument was it shouldn't be like the main content they are consuming. That has always been my argument throughout this conversation.
Okay. So if commentary is the main content a 17-year-old is consuming, and how do you... I showed like the comparison of like them sneaking off and watching, and then like the parents getting mad, and you seem to be averse to that. So
no, I'm not averse to that. I just think it's a completely not averse to it, Bowblax. I just think it's a completely different conversation than the parental techniques of how they should regulate it is a very different conversation to whether a kid should be allowed to watch it or not.
What do you mean? Parents are who decide what a kid should or shouldn't do, and you said a kid shouldn't be watching this.
No, I said it shouldn't be their main form of content. That's what I said. It should be the main content they are consuming, not that they shouldn't watch it.
So what is the solution? If
I think the solution
main form of content is watching commentary, how should the parents or the kid deal with it?
I think this should reasonably. I mean, what happened? I didn't watch commentary, but I.
Wait, you don't watch commentary? But no.
I didn't. Stop. I didn't watch commentary when I was 16, 17.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Because like the genre was 2012, 2013. But one thing that my parents would do to make sure I wasn't like overly saturating myself in like one form of content is they'd say, okay, can you like watch this like 1 hour, but then I want you to go out and like do something else. Which sort of at least made that I sort of had this balance. But I think the problem is that a lot of the time, all these kids are watching. They're watching commentary, then they go into commentary servers where they talk about commentary more. It's just this loop of them just constantly engaged in nothing other than like this genre. And I think that's like really unhealthy, and I think it can lead to like just really bad negative consequences. And from what I see, it like has. And so like that's my problem here. Yeah.
So do you think this issue is exclusive to commentary, or can it be attributed to other genres of content?
I think it probably can be attributed to other genres of content. I don't know which ones they would be. I mean, I've had the most experience. So I'm in several other communities where this is not really a problem. So most of the servers are in are like 16 plus. And so when it comes to like music servers, it's not really a problem. I guess like it depends on the game. So some gaming servers can have this problem. But a lot of that seems to be based on like sort of edgy gaming content that they're watching and sort of like over like I guess like sitting for like 8 hours at a time and sort of like the form like what used to be the Xbox live shit. And so I think like that can obviously have a negative impact on like how people like do social interactions. But I think there's a lot of servers where it doesn't happen. I think maybe gaming content, because depending on the gaming streamers you're watching, some of those gaming streamers are like pretty edgy themselves, but there are others who are not. So I think it depends on who you're watching.
So you're saying this is pretty much exclusive to people who just make edgy jokes online, kind of.
Edgy. I think people make really edgy content. I think a lot of young people, especially people under the age of 18, don't understand that that's like they're doing it because it is a stream, that it is a YouTube video. It's not supposed to be replicated in like every other online interaction you have and every other IRL interaction you have.
Do you think this is an issue that... When do you think this issue starts? So commentary, as you said, didn't really exist online until the mid-2010s. So before that point... 15. Yeah, that's what mid-2010s is.
Yeah.
So prior to that, do you think that kids were having this issue at all? Or do you think...
I think kids were having this issue, but I think it was more informed by like schoolyard shit. So if there was like a bully or someone who was like... Everyone knows the kid I'm talking about, the kid who like does the spitballs, the kid who like makes insults, the kids who like throw slurs at other kids. I think that heavily like wouldn't like other kids will like join in on that behavior.
You're saying it didn't really exist online until mid-2010s. Edginess.
Edginess, I think it existed in like gaming forums, but I definitely think it drastically increased with the massive like edgy content that started being created in 2015, 2016. Yeah.
I heavily disagree. If you saw the internet in the 2000s, holy shit, dude. Like,
okay, I could be wrong with this then. Maybe I am.
I don't know. I mean, people were just flinging out the F slur like it was nothing. R slur wasn't even considered a slur. You know, oh my god, like Ego Raptor, who's like super progressive now. He's like a white guy. He was like casually saying N-word with an A in videos. You know, we had what do we have? Shane Dawson doing the blackface skits in early 2010. Like,
well, maybe that's the thing then. Maybe that was true. I mean, I was only allowed to like have Facebook when I was 16, 17. So like maybe that was a thing. I don't know.
Okay, so. The solution to this issue with like kids latching onto edginess, where do you think the solution lies? Do you think it's do you think commentary shouldn't exist? Do you think it's the creator's fault, or do you think it's the parents' fault?
I think commentary shouldn't exist, but for completely different reasons. When it comes to this specific issue,
I'd like to talk about those reasons later if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you have time.
Yeah, when it comes to these specific issues, I think unfortunately it's a parental problem. I ultimately think. So I don't think that. Yeah, I think it's a parental issue. I think there's a lot of parents who just don't know what their kids are watching online. They have like no idea.
So if a kid was watching like AugieRFC or some other edgy commentator, you never named any examples, so I'm just gonna use Augie as an example. Unless you have a better one that you were specifically thinking of throughout this conversation.
Current one, I think Augie would be a pretty prominent one.
Okay, so let's say kids are watching AugieRFC. Do you think it'd be more healthy for them to watch someone like Keffels or Hassan or?
I don't think kids should be getting into politics when they're teenagers. I think it's really bad.
So politics would be another community that you think kids shouldn't get
I think they can watch a little bit
as commentary.
I think, I really struggle on the politics question. Here's why I struggle, because it's like, well, do we want kids who don't yet think that have critical thinking skills to like watch political content? It's like, no. But do we also want them to be heavily influenced by their parents solely for political beliefs? It's like, well, no. I don't know the answer to that question when it comes to politics.
I have another question. Sure. When do you think, based on what you said, when do you think critical thinking skills are generally developed within a human? Like what age?
I don't have like empirical evidence on this.
Yeah, obviously. I'm just saying what you think personally.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be accurate. This isn't a right or wrong question.
Okay, I think probably between the ages of like 18 and 21, more than likely.
18 and 21, critical thinking. So being able to like problem solve and stuff.
I think it can happen to people younger, like it can, but I think it's just less likely. I mean, this is also heavily formed by my own personal experiences, so there's a lot of bias in this. But it just like it seems that 18 and 21 is when like you start developing those critical thinking skills. At least like the minors I've seen online, they seem to really lack them. Have you ever been?
So lacking critical skills means kind of like listening to what you hear, but not like questioning it and just kind of like going with it like a zombie. Like my favorite YouTuber said this, and I'm not gonna like think about it further and just take them at face value.
Yeah. I think that, for example, I'll ask you this question: have you ever seen like politics? Political Twitter accounts that are run by like minors. Yeah. No, but like minors on Twitter. These kids are insane. Yeah, like these kids, like a lot of these kids just like base like most of their beliefs on what the person next to them like says.
Yeah.
Projects. Like that is true. That is true. Yeah.
I think for the record, I think Aiden's a critical thinker.
I do as well. It's me and him have spoken several times. I've known him for about 6 months. But yeah, I think like that's an issue when it comes to like politics. It's just like, when it comes to like minors engaging in politics. I don't know what the solution is there like at all, but yeah.
So do you think if kids' primary content they're watching is like Keffels or politics stuff like Hassan, that like if parents catch their 17-year-old watching like a little too much Hassan, like they're 8 hours straight into the Hassan stream, that they should unplug?
Yeah, I do. I think parents should be like, okay, you can watch like a couple of hours, but then I want you to go and like do something else. I think it's really unhealthy to spend like most of your childhood and your teenage years online.
What do you think they should be watching instead?
What do I think I should be watching instead?
Because we did just have the pandemic, so like going outside is
like
the solution.
That was difficult. Actually, I feel really sorry for kids during the pandemic. I think that would have been hell. It's really difficult. But now the pandemic.
So should they watch like, I don't know, like Teletubbies?
I think they should watch a mixture of shit. I think they can watch a little bit of politics. I think they should watch a bit of politics. I think they should watch like other interests that they have. Gaming, whether it's gaming, music, movies, TV shows. I don't know whether it's like.
Do you know like that
obviously they're into it.
pyramid of like the diet you're supposed to have or
Yeah.
whatever?
Mhm.
Yeah, you should make that for like content. Like you should have 20% of commentary, 10% of politics. You know, for a healthy mental diet for a 17-year-old. You know,
I just
50%
I don't know.
of Teletubbies, so they don't like, you know, they don't have
I just
critical
think
thinking.
I don't know. Maybe like I'm wrong on this, but it just seems to be like that's like real unhealthy. I think I do. Like I didn't spend like all my parents wouldn't have let me spend all my teenage years like solely at a screen. I think it was better. Yeah, I don't know. It seems that some negative things can like be developed. There are literally like I know like kids in servers, like teenagers in servers, right? Who will like skip school or like not go outside or like cancel shit with their friends to like watch a commentary stream or a politics stream or some like dumb shit. Okay, and it's like that's not good. But yeah.
Yeah. So when you brought up that like in the debate with Augie that like commentary hurts kids' brains, it kind of seemed like you were saying it in response like that like commentary channels are bad and they should like stop it. But here you're saying that like political stuff is just as bad for kids' brains as commentary stuff. So
yeah.
And you're a political person, so like what was the point of bringing that up? Like, do you want commentary channels to be like more aware of their impact on kids, or do you want them to like tone down with the edgy shit because kids copy them? Like what was your main issue there when you brought that point up?
What was my main issue? So are you asking now just brought in my main issue of commentary?
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
Are you asking right now just my broader issue of commentary? Or are you like asking like when it comes to impact
yeah,
negative
kind
impact?
of, but like mainly what was like the main reason for you like saying that to Augie? Because it seemed like you were singling out commentary and kind of implying that like Augie is doing something wrong with commentary. So like, do you think Augie should like because where you think Augie is like the edgy example, do you think he should stop doing commentary, or what do you think he should change, or
I don't think he should stop
why?
I don't think he should stop doing commentary. I guess what I would like is more for him to just be a little bit more like self-aware of the impact that a content creator like him has. I think that's mainly what I would like.
Okay, but if he has a self-awareness, how should he utilize that to change his content? Because if he has a self-awareness but he doesn't change his content, nothing changes, right?
He has a self-awareness but he doesn't change his content.
Yeah, like what should he do with that self-awareness? What
he should do with that self-awareness? I feel like the main thing is sort of like, you know, guys, like we clown on these people and it's fun and we're going to continue to do it. But also we have to like not take it fucking overboard. I guess like just like telling his audience, like, you know, if you see someone where like the constant like dogpiling on them is like impacting the mental health, or it just happens too much, like there's an over concentration on one person, then we probably should like tone it down a little bit. I feel like a lot of famous like that would be good. Or just
do you think the same criticism could be applied to political streamers such as Hassan or Keffels?
I think it could.
Destiny?
I think it could. For example, if there's like one person and you were just constantly going after like that one person, and it's not even substantial stuff, it's like this person, you know, there are some streamers, and I'm sure you've seen this, like this person is a dumb fuck and I hate them and they're just bad. It's like, I think that can go a bit overboard. I don't think we need like millions and millions upon millions of people in like this person's
So how long have you been talking about Augie?
How long have I been talking about Augie?
Platforms? Yeah.
I've only spoken about Augie like 3 times, I think in total. I've spoken about Augie 3 times.
And in one of the times you called him a fascist, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you calling him a fascist is bad for kids because you're channeling so much anger and hate towards one person? I mean, fascist is a pretty loaded statement. Like when you hear fascist, you're like, oh, I fucking hate that person. Do you think teenagers will see you calling Augie a fascist and then get like super terminally online and angry and stuff? Do you think you could? Do you think your criticism of commentary could also apply to you, in that sense?
It could, but again, my ultimate prescription is I don't think kids should like. I think Twitter should be 18 plus. Like the problem is I think as much, and I would concede this to Augie as well. It's very difficult when we engage online to like to like overly influence like kids. Unfortunately, it's like different.
Okay.
I will try. For
So-
example, I try and be careful. So I think I called Augie a fascist in a. I didn't call Augie a fascist on Twitter. I called Augie a fascist in a private VC with Bunk. In a private VC in Bunk in a politics server where there was like no children there. Like there was no minors in that. Yeah, there was no minors there at the time.
Have you called other people fascist on either your YouTube or your?
I've never called someone a fascist on my YouTube. I don't think
Have you
I've
made
ever...
have you made particular videos on one person on your
No.
YouTube?
No. I like barely ever. I think I only ever used to upload debates on my YouTube channel when I
Let's see debates.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a 4-hour video titled "Holding Stardust and Mr. Girl to Account" on Chudlogic's channel. Do you think dedicating 4 hours to talking negatively about two people is good for kids who watch your content?
In that case, yes, because I think like kids should stay away from Mr. Girl. That would be like my position. Yeah. So if that would be
let's say how about Stardust? How about Stardust?
Stardust?
You talked with Stardust for about 4 hours on that. It's light, right?
Yeah, but my point would be there is I don't think that would be like harmful to kids, because my point would be that like Mr. Girl is someone that like minors should not be like interacting with or watching the content of. So I don't think like there's many negative effects that can come from that, right? Yeah, so that would be like my.
But I was asking about Stardust, not Mr. Girl.
Yeah, but that debate is in the context where Stardust is defending Mr. Girl. Right? So so I think I don't know the negative effects could harm. I'm like warning people about Mr. Girl.
How is that different from commentary channels making videos calling out negative behavior of other people?
Because I think there's a very big difference between like Mr. Girl and Jellybean, for example, right? I think there's like
How about Mr. Girl and Deaf Noodles?
Deaf Noodles. So I don't know this guy like very well. I don't know much about this guy. He seems to like be a bit of an idiot. I think is the intent to like tell minors that hey stay or like is there going to be an effect? Not the intent, but is there going to be an effect to tell minors hey stay away from Deaf Noodles? He's dangerous. Probably not. Again, I would advise that minors like do not watch my content. Yeah, like
okay.
I would.
Can you age restrict your content then? Why is it available to people under 18? All
because
your videos
like,
aren't age restricted.
Because like that's obviously like going to slow it in the algorithm, right?
But then kids will see it. That's kind of immoral if you don't want kids to see your content. It kind of could erode their brains, right?
I feel this conversation has like you've like stopped engaging in you've stopped engaging in good faith like at this point, right? It seems like you're just like memeing at this point.
Why does it seem that way? Because there's
because I never
in your own content to your criticism.
I've never said erode brains. That's not what I said. You
said it was unhealthy for their.
Yeah, I said it stunted their development. That's different from saying
their development. Okay.
That's different. That's different from saying it erodes their brains, right?
That's what I mean by that.
Okay. Because obviously going to slow myself in the algorithm. I don't think like there's like more obligation on me to like restrict it. I just think I think it is good for me though. It is a moral good for me to recommend that minors probably do not watch my content. Like I wouldn't recommend that minors watch my content. Generally.
I just got a message from Augie saying that he believes you changed your position and now you're calling him a fascist.
What? No. Okay, oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. So, he asked me if I did call... So, Bowblax asked me if I called him a fascist. I said yes, I did call him a fascist. Not that I believe he is a fascist, right? These are two, like, very different things.
So you say what you don't believe.
What? Huh?
You calling him a fascist, but you say you don't believe he's a fascist, so you're just lying? You're just saying what? You don't believe?
Well, okay, hold on. Whoa.
You wouldn't call someone a fascist unless you think so, and if you don't think so, then you're lying.
No. Because if I call him a fascist as an insult, it's very different from like calling him a fascist as As like I actually think like he's like going to be like carrying like swastikas around everywhere, right? And my position there, right? My position there was I made like a pretty big assumption. Like, okay, so in the private conversation with Bunk, the private conversation with Bunk, I thought he was based on his association like with Flamenco, because Flamenco used to be like a former co-host of like the Kill Stream, which I'm pretty sure we can like most people should be able to agree is probably a fascist like show, or at least a show that like promotes fascism to like a large degree. And so that association is why I made the assumption. I don't think it's like an unreasonable assumption to like make. If like you share like a pretty big part of your audience with Flamenco, who is at least broadly known, I think most people who are like not heavily familiar with his work, just like broadly the politics community, probably thinks as Flamenco as someone who's pretty fascistic. So also I think it's not an unreasonable assumption.
I don't think that's inherently true. I think he gets on a lot of left-leaning panels. I don't think... Do you think that most people on left-leaning panels would invite someone they think is openly, like, fascistic?
No. And so I'm talking about, like, just the broader online
I think
left.
if you're saying, like, the audience, maybe. But I think most creators kind of accepted Flamenco's, like, new run.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what this has to do with you calling Augie a fascist. We're talking about Augie, not Flamenco.
Yeah. So if you share isn't it a huge chunk of your audience with another streamer who is assumed to be a fascist, then it's just reasonable to assume that like that person one is either a fascist themselves or is like okay with like having tons of fascists in their audience.
Okay, so you said Killstream puts fascist people on their show.
Killstream is fascist, I think.
Okay, you think Killstream is fascist?
Yeah.
Flamenco used to co-host Killstream.
Yeah.
And not only stopped, but went against Killstream now, and now he's against.
Well, I don't know that because I don't know the Flamenco law. Most people who are like outside of commentary don't know most of the Flamenco
And now
law.
you're saying Flamenco hangs out with Augie, so therefore Augie's a fat. If you don't know Flamenco's content,
I said I made that
assumption.
I made that assumption.
I don't think you should make assumptions about calling people fascist.
I think it's actually I think it's okay to like make reasonable assumptions, and I believed that to be a reasonable assumption.
If he has more content against Ralph than with Ralph, how is it reasonable to think he's pro Ralph?
Because most people, it's so there's something between like morally wrong and morally good, and what is reasonable, right? So when it comes to reasonability, most people are not going to like search through all of like Flamenco's videos and like Ethan Ralph.
Well, not all. You just have to watch. You just have to check his channel and check videos and see like he's calling Ethan Ralph like shitty in like the titles and stuff in the videos. It's not that difficult.
But most people are not
like.
It
would probably be harder to. It would probably be harder to find out he was a host of Killstream than him hating Ralph. Since him hating
but
Ralph
that's what
is, like,
most people in the broader online
career.
left like know him for. They know him as a former co-host of the Killstream. And like the weird shit he did to like, the weird shit he was accused of doing to Vosh and the weird shit he did to Xenhol. That's what most people in the online left know him for.
The online, everybody.
Not everybody, but most people in the online left. That's what they know him for. If you ask most people in the online left, like, what do you think of like Flamenco? They're gonna go, isn't like that the guy used to be like the former co-host of the Killstream, and like.
I think most people wouldn't know who he is, or would know him from his like VTuber coverage or Ralph coverage.
No, not within the online left. They wouldn't.
The online left. Are you talking about like the 20 Twitch streamers who like
follow
Destiny,
talking about
or like actual like?
I'm talking about the 20 Twitch streamers. I'm talking about the Twitch audience, the Twitch politics audience, and I'm talking about like broadly people who go around like left wing online forums who obviously like watch like left wing online content.
Well, if they're saying he's fascist, maybe they should correct that and do their research. Why are none of them like checking out Flamenco's content? You're basically saying your ineptitude and knowing who Flamenco is due to what other people say. Just fucking own it. Just say you haven't done the research and that you called someone a fascist. Like you jumped on calling someone a fascist before you probably.
Yeah, but people make assumptions about like people's behavior and people's associations all the time, right? This is just something that's going
bad.
To happen.
That's not good.
Yeah, it could be bad, but something's going to happen.
Shouldn't make assumptions.
Like it's just something that's going to happen.
That's how
like,
people think I'm like a piece of shit because they're like, "Oh, you talked to Keemstar once, and that means you're a piece." It's fucked up to make assumptions.
I know you mostly for hating Mr. Go. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, it's like fucked up to making assumptions based on people just because of. That's like the core of like, I don't know how extreme. I don't want to go like too extreme with it, but like, I don't know. That's just thinking someone's a certain way based on a certain trait or something they've done in the past lightly or whatever, and not like taking them in as a person and just automatically making assumptions before you get to know people is how bigotry happens, in my opinion. So it's part of how bigotry happens. So.
Okay.
I think you should fix that about yourself, to just like jumping to calling people fascist and then using that to say, oh, he's probably fascist, but Augie also hangs out with him, so he's probably fascist as well. By that logic, you're going to start like spreading fascism in your head like the coronavirus, and everyone's going to be fucking fascist. Because I hang out with Augie. Am I fascist now? Nick hangs out with Augie. Is he fascist now? Like how far is this
but the difference, I think the difference between like you, Bowblax, and Augie is you've like gone out of your way to like condemn several like very extreme like groups, like both of you have. Most people like most people like
extreme groups has Augie not condemned that I have.
Like I could be wrong here, but I've never like heard him like make a tweet or make a statement saying, "Hey, like I think like the transphobia and like commentary is like really insane." I could be wrong, but I don't think he's like ever made a statement about that. Well, like Nick has gone out of his way to do that. So I think like that's the difference, right?
Okay. Well, I know Augie is not a transphobic person. I don't pay attention to all his tweets and stuff, so I don't know if he's made a statement like that. Maybe he could like come in correct. I'm pretty sure he's talked against transphobia. Transphobia is fucking cringe as hell. Augie always tries to respect people's pronouns whenever I've never seen him like intentionally misgender someone. You know? So I think he leads by example in that way. You know how kids like are copying behaviors of YouTubers? If these edgy kids are copying the behaviors of Augie, then they wouldn't be transphobic because Augie doesn't act transphobic. I don't know if he's ever said like don't be transphobic in a super blatant way on Twitter, but he literally doesn't act transphobic. So if your argument is that these commentary kids are, acting based on these creators, if someone's being transphobic in Augie's audience, that comes from something that they watch somewhere else.
No, that was never my argument. My argument was never that they were being transphobic. It's not
Augie.
You remember my argument?
Okay.
Sorry. If you remember my argument,
Continue.
My argument wasn't that he was being transphobic or that his audience was copying his transphobia. My argument is that they saw him acting really edgy. And then they went and replicated that behavior in so many other servers where people were just like trying to have chill conversations. If you remember, that was my argument.
Yeah, but Augie's never been edgy in a transphobic way. So
no,
like...
and so it's good I never call him edgy in a transphobic way. Then what I did say about him was that I thought the tweets were a bit transphobic. The two tweets.
Oh, the Keffel's tweets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. Augie already argued with that, so I'm not gonna
redo
that's
it. Yeah,
something for you and Augie to argue, and you already did. I just wanted to really talk about what you don't like about commentary, and it seems like you think commentary. I don't know what you think the ideal solution should be. That's what I want to come away from this conversation on it. This is why I came in. I want to know what you think should be what you think commentary channels are doing wrong, and how do you think they should change to correct this behavior?
Okay, I think we have to differentiate because there are some big commentary channels, and there's like the broader commentary community, right? I think I have way more of an issue with the
example we're
community.
using is someone like Augie, right?
Sure.
Because I'm not talking about Tro, we're not talking about someone like The Right Opinion. We're talking about edgy streamers who.
Okay, edgy streamers.
Like saying the R word.
Do you differentiate edgy commentary streamers from I guess topic commentary?
There's a lot of different differentiations you can make in commentary.
Okay. So I guess what I would say, for example, I think I would like to see more of an emphasis on just the idea that harassment is a problem, that bullying is a problem, and that just the inability of people in commentary. I think people in commentary have a really hard time taking just mental health seriously. Those are the three things that I have the biggest issues with, I think. It's just simply harassment wasn't taken pretty seriously. Jellybeans I think are pretty good example of that. I think just the tons of videos that Jellybean got made on her by commentary. Literally, I would argue that there's a big connection between that and her getting doxxed. which I don't think was great. Also, it seems like when people are like, hey, like some of this commentary is really impacting my mental health, like that just gets mocked. And of course, I think there's sometimes an intended act to like bully certain groups of people like off the platform, especially in ways that's just really unjustified. Like those are like my 3 biggest like problems with commentary.
Is Jellybean like the only example of this, or have you been feeling this way before, Jellybean?
I felt this way before. No. Jellybean was probably the first time I really saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe those videos were just kind of calling her content cringe, and then that's about it. I don't think they said anything.
Yeah, but when you make
horrible
35
about the
videos
person.
and calling a content cringe, like some people do, it's like, come on, okay? That obviously is harassment at that point. Like, a good example of this was a Cheeto.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
So you think the issue is the amount of videos people are making on a singular topic?
It's the amount of videos people are making, and it seems the intent to sort of direct hate towards that person.
Okay, and then this argument. So this isn't exclusive to commentary. There's also like other channels who like talk about people, a lot of people, or one particular person in a lot of videos, like you know, political streamers, or you know, maybe, well, I guess this is commentary, but I guess H3 would talk about Keem a lot, or what have you. So you're just kind of against the idea of making multiple negative videos on.
No, if you have substantive arguments against them, good. If you're just simply calling them cringe, I think absolutely that is like a moral wrong. It's like directing hate someone's way with like no purpose. Effectively, there's no utility in directing hate Jellybean's way simply for being cringe. Making 35 videos on a person for being cringe, like what utility is there in that? Like what good are you doing at that point?
Maybe it's just to laugh at cringe.
Yeah, but to the point
that
person is getting like relentless.
TV shows all the time. Like, do you think a bunch of bad movie reviews being released is like harassment towards the creator?
No, but I think when we're talking like, what about a 16, 17-year-old who's being cringe online, getting 35 videos made about her, which then ends up in like a massive hate campaign being directed towards her just getting like tons of hate nonstop, and people thinking, and these commentary YouTubers convince this person this is so bad, this person is so cringe and is like destroying YouTube with her like terrible stuff, that it ends up to the point that she gets doxxed. I think you got a serious problem on your hands.
I think they're criticizing the content, not the creator. And it takes one person to dox somebody. Like,
sure,
no matter, let's say Jellybean didn't get any hate or whatever, I still think eventually she probably would have been doxed. Once you're just a big creator, that's just like kind of inevitable.
No, I think removing any responsibility from the people who like made tons and tons and tons of videos on Jellybean and saying, well, she would have been doxed even if this didn't happen. I don't agree with that. I think absolutely the incentive to dox this person was based on like just the hateful videos that were like made about like this 16-year-old, 16, 17-year-old, it was just like, I guess, like
none
making...
of the commentary channels are condoning the doxing. If anything, if they wanted to if viewers wanted to dox Jellybean to look cool to the commentators, I mean, they failed.
Let's say that I say, for example, what's an argument I could make? I think of one. I think the problem is here is that if you were committing a certain act, you're making tons of videos about this person. Okay, let's say I make like not just one video. I think one video is fine. Let's say one video. This person's an evil person. Hate this. They're horrible. Their content's dog shit. Okay. But if I make 35 videos... I
don't think anyone said Jellybean's evil, though.
No, but as an example, let's say like I make 35 videos on someone saying that this person is like ruining YouTube, they're ruining the platform. And so people like believe me on this, right? They go, actually, yeah, this is true. And people decide, okay, obviously the solution, if this person's ruining the platform, is that you have to take them down somehow. Well, what's a way that people are going to think that taking them down is going to work? Well, doxing is a way you can definitely take someone down. They thought, okay, we're going to dox this person. This idea that these like videos didn't lead to like negative behaviors of their viewers, I think is completely like wrong. It absolutely did. I don't think she just simply still would have been doxed. What?
So,
I've experienced this in like so many ways.
What if a commentary channel made one video on Jellybean and she got doxxed off that?
You can like blame the commentary channel for that. I don't think because there's not like an.
You can't. Or you
no.
I didn't hear.
You can't because like harassment is like a repeated attacks upon a person, not just like one. Is it
an attack on a person or their content? Like when we say like something's a bad movie, we're not necessarily saying the director should go die. You know, we're just saying it's bad. People are just saying her content's bad. I haven't watched like a ton of Jelly Bean videos, but let's say I've maybe watched like 5 or something.
Did you watch any of the Cheeto ones?
I think I did watch one of his, yeah.
Okay, so when it came to a Cheeto, he wasn't just saying her content is bad. He was saying she was bad. It was a pretty big like campaign against her. Yeah, I don't think it was, especially when it came like I'm thinking of a Cheeto in particular because that's the one I remember the most. He wasn't simply saying her content was bad. He was saying she was bad. There was pretty much implications that like she was destroying the platform. These like types of content creators need to like go down. And so like when you're telling that to your very impressionable young audience that this is what you believe, they're gonna think, you know what, this person sucks. We need a way to take this person down. I mean that's like the problem, right?
Yeah. You're saying the main issue is commentary channels making multiple videos.
Yeah, tons of videos.
I get what you're saying.
About someone that doesn't really have like any purpose other than the cringe.
Yeah, obviously I haven't watched like a ton of Jelly Bean videos, and I'm not a Cheeto, and I'm not Dumpy, so I'm not gonna continue to try and like say what they did was like right or whatever. Maybe there's some wrong in it, but there's only a few commentators who like really pile on and make like a ton of videos on like one person. So you would only have a problem with that channel. You wouldn't have a problem with someone like Augie then, right?
In terms of repeated attacks of harassment? Probably not. I don't think he's done that.
So when you said commentary channels are bad for kids' brains, you were only really talking about...
Oh, no. That's
Cheeto
another...
and
That would be...
Dumpy.
So hold on. So you asked me, what is the solution? And what are the main issues I have?
To have
these the main issues were harassment. No, I said the main issues were harassment, bullying, and the mockery of mental health. Now, another issue I forgot I exempted from one, which I said earlier. So I didn't think I need to say it again because I said it earlier, which was the stunting of the development one. But you had already heard me spoke about that, so I didn't mention that again.
The stunting of the development is why you're against commentary, correct?
It's one of the reasons why I'm against commentary. The others being harassment, bullying, and like mockery of mental health.
I thought it all tied back to that.
Sorry, I probably should have been way more clear. Yeah, sorry, I should have been way more clear about that. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought it all went back to the kids.
No, it's my fault. No, it's okay.
That's just one of the reasons.
Yeah.
So like Augie. So you're saying Augie's commentary channel is bad. And a Cheetos is also bad, but they're bad for completely different reasons.
Yeah, they're bad for different reasons.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page with that, because then I would have misunderstood this whole discussion.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay, dude, it was really nice to meet you because I've heard really good things about you, and I've seen some of your content. It's been pretty good. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, buddy.
All right. Thanks for having me on, Nick.
Thanks for coming on. I think.
See you later. I'm happy to hop on in like a chill stream or whatever later. But yeah, that's the end of.
I know. I think we're pretty much done. I haven't had you here for like 2.5. Like, yeah, you've been here a while, Prag. I'm not gonna keep you any longer. I know.
All right.
Aiden and Star itching to talk to you. If you ever want to do a conversation with them, I'm sure they'll be easy to contact.
I'm fine with talking to them. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with talking. Okay.
All right, but I will let you go, and I'm probably gonna head off myself. But I do appreciate debating 3 people in a row.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much for having me on, Nick. I really appreciate this opportunity.
No problem. I think the conversation was pretty fun, and yeah, I think a lot of people liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, man.
I'm gonna drop out.
Bye.
Thank you.